now.
So I think you got a whole half hour of Pat, even though he did 7 minutes in here.
I think you got more than a half hour. I really
a lot of bleeping, but he never...
With bleeps. Hey, where's Einziger? Einziger, come in here. You lazy bastard.
You know, when I think of the list of people who have walked off the show, which is very limited.
Right.
No one's ever walked off like that.
What?
They're busy rolling it off.
Oh, are they rolling it off?
I was there. It's at least like 20 minutes of tirade.
Wow.
Non-stop, yelling, threatening to kick your butt and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
My butt?
Wow.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to kick everyone's butt in that studio if you guys bring those 3 people in here.
3, we had 7.
This is before he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you mean all...
Yeah, all the stuff leading up to it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, what are you talking about?
I thought you meant afterwards.
Oh, everyone be quiet.
The only people who have ever left the show or threatened to leave the show, in my memory, are Angie Booey and Robert Blake. And it was nothing like that. I mean, Pat made a grand exit.
Yeah.
Robert Blake left England?
Well, he tried to leave.
Oh.
But you have a whole show. I mean, the whole show can end with the elevator door closing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
He was still going as the doors closed, you know.
Jackie, so bad. Jackie kept going, but Pat, we love
maybe it's time to preempt whatever. Don't block my camera. Maybe it's time to preempt.
You and that camera.
Maybe it's time to preempt. What's running tonight?
Stuttering John, a series of interviews.
Oh, that's real good.
It's like the whole rap with Vic and his parents.
All right, so maybe it'll give us time to put together the Pat Cooper show.
We have a good idea of how to put together the show. Dynamite. We're laying off some audio right now, some stuff that I got with.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
It's got to be at least a half an hour because it takes 5 minutes to lay it off and 25 minutes to bleep it.
So you know what? Maybe
maybe
I'll do that tomorrow.
It's pretty good.
And by the way, we have a mystery guest tomorrow. That's confirmed now.
Cool.
A good one. A really good one.
Cool.
You're excited. Okay.
Better than Pete Rose?
In a way.
Yeah?
Yeah, you know, everyone's got their own angle.
Okay.
Completely different. The other side of the world.
Is the mystery guest? Let me take a guess right now. Pat Cooper? Nobody would be better than that. No?
Make that
No
happen?
such luck.
That would be great.
We're going to need to put a few holidays in between a reconciliation.
Yeah. Oh, he's still welcome anytime.
Oh,
well, I'm sure if he would go home and just calm down, I think he keeps working himself up, though.
Yeah.
You know, I got to tell you.
Because how could he be that angry?
He can.
In the morning.
He can.
I got to tell you a story now that I was sort of holding back. My in-laws went to see Pat play out on Long Island. You know, played a concert on Long Island at like one of the parks.
Yeah.
And they saw Pat walk into his car just ranting and raving at nobody in particular.
Was it about me?
No, just nobody in particular. But you know, that's part of Pat is that
he ran.
He ran.
No,
that's what makes him funny.
Yeah. I was laughing.
But they said there was only one other person in the parking lot. It sounded like Pat was talking to himself.
What?
Those guys that were in here were saying they was in the video store and they didn't have Snow White.
You don't
have Snow White. The butcher said, no pork chops.
He's a pisser.
So I guess he goes around like that all the time.
I love him.
But I mean, even when he would call here to book himself, sometimes he'd be yelling, but like in a fun way.
Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just want to go on record as to say that argument will definitely win an FME.
Oh, yes. Oh, please. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that.
Are you kidding? It's going to be nominated 3 times.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I'll do tomorrow? I'll do a special show tomorrow where I'll play that back, and then I'll also play Pat ranting and raving without us being here so we can hear what else he was saying about me.
Because, we don't know what happened while he was out in the hall before he
we
came
missed
in or
it.
after he left.
Yeah. The man's a superstar. Thank you.
All right.
Well, he's in material now. That's what
See, I was thinking, you know how Pat's always talking about, doing TV and stuff. I wanted to develop with my production company a sitcom around him but we wouldn't give him a script.
Just let him go off like
It would just to be different people. I'd surprise him and piss him off and then let him go off.
What do you mean? You mean sort of like a cage set and you like throw his mom in?
Yeah. Like he doesn't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And I was pitching it, but a lot of the network guys don't understand.
I picked him. You know how ABC loves to run those commentaries, and they're sort of looking for sort of an Andy Rooney type.
Yeah.
I pitched him, Pat.
There you go.
Any subject he can go off on. One morning he was in here, got angry at the movie Gorillas in the Mist.
I know.
He was brilliant.
Yeah. Well, some people don't recognize that.
One thing the man does not lack is opinion.
But man, oh man, there's a lot of stuff rolling around in that head. Los Angeles, you're on the air.
Must be going 24 hours a day.
How you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, I got a name for Baba Booey, a new one. Even now that he's used to Baba.
Hey, he's in Los Angeles. You probably didn't even hear Pat.
Right.
You're on the air.
Hey, Howard.
Hey.
Now Pat, whenever Pat goes out, he's just gonna badmouth you guys.
Yeah, and then he's gonna deny it.
Well, you know what's gonna happen is our fans are now
we're gonna
give him crap, which isn't right.
They're probably going to tape him going off on me.
Yeah, they're going to rile him up so that they can get the tape.
Yeah, he better not go to Stuttering John's apartment and watch the football game.
Right.
His life is going to be hell now.
Yeah.
But you know what? For some people, I got to tell you, this is really bad. Because for some people, they say, you know what? This is like Bon Jovi. This is making his life hell. Let me go make up with Howard. For Pat, it only drives him farther over the edge.
That's right. Got to be careful with Pat.
Yeah.
Nobody go near Pat.
I can't wait.
Leave Pat alone.
I can't wait until he's back out on the island performing.
Getting ready. They're writing the signs now.
There you hung up.
If I was a club owner, I'd be booking them right this
There you go.
They're gonna flock.
You're on the air.
Good morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
Okay.
Good. Who am I speaking with?
Howard.
Oh, how you doing, Howard?
Hey.
I hope you realize the ethnicity with Pat Cooper and how, coming from an Italian background.
Hey, I know a lot of Italians. He's pretty feisty. I mean, Italians are feisty
What, do you think
people.
that's an Italian trait?
I don't know. Pat's super Italian.
It's a pride thing with him.
Yeah, but Pat's got this whole issue with his parents and stuff, and all of a sudden I was lumped in with his parents, and my parents couldn't take away my dignity, and...
I don't know how you were trying to strip him of it.
I don't know, but it's like really weird. You don't want to be tied in with Pat's parents.
Or any of his family, for that matter.
Yeah, it's slowly I turn.
It's the Italian thing, though, It's the vindictiveness and the vendetta.
Yeah, I know,
The whole Godfather issue.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. It was a little like that.
Exactly.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you, Howard.
Right. Hey, you're on the air. Hello? That's going to be one of those legendary incidents.
Yeah. People will talk about for years.
Yeah.
I put out for you, he said.
I put out for you.
I just think back to little lines that he says and I start to crack up.
You're on the air. He put out for himself. He didn't put out for me. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, Howard?
Hey.
What's up? I think Richard Simmons at one time got really, really ticked off.
No.
Richard Simmons was ticked off at me, but he didn't express it as well as Pat.
And certainly Richard is never scary, even as ticked off as he can get.
The only reason Richard Simmons got mad is because, and the day that he really got mad was when he wasn't even on the air with us. That was the day when that guy called in who claimed in the Inquirer that he had gone up to a hotel room with Richard, and Richard paid him money to spank him. And he kept yelling, "Spank me, Daddy, spank me."
No,
Harry had to keep pulling him in.
The thing that I think really upset Richard was you said to the guy, what did Richard say while you were spanking him? And the guy kept going in this weird voice. He kept saying, "Daddy's been a bad girl." Daddy's girl's been a bad girl.
Yes, that was
Yeah, Richard got mad.
Yeah, Jackie was able to bring him back, though. All right, thanks a lot, Howard.
All right, man.
Take care.
All right. It's funny that the person who tried to win Pat back was Jackie just after his Patty Davis Reagan fiasco.
Maybe he was trying to make up.
Yeah, I'm trying to make up for it.
But I thought,
the ambassador.
That's the last person we should send.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Pat, let me tell you a joke. Don't leave. Don't.
You know what was weird?
My chance to make up for everything. Come on, I'll bring it back. Come on. Oh, jeez, he's gone.
Jackie was out there saying, I said, Pat, please don't do this. Please don't go. And Jackie came out and he go, "Come on, Pat, we love you." And that seemed to enrage him more. You don't know love.
Yeah, Pat does.
Oh, man. Because Jackie was like really doing a good job.
But Pat is right. Jackie does not know love, but
you know
the rest of us do.
We got a fact from the King of All Messengers.
Yeah.
And he says that he did a phony phone call with Pat.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
Right.
But Pat praised you to the hilt.
Yes, absolutely.
In that phone call. And what Pat was saying when we talked to him on the phone 2 weeks ago was that you don't ever talk about how he praises you.
Right.
So maybe if we played that phone call.
Right.
We can get Pat back.
There you go.
And then Jackie said to him, "Oh, come on, Pat, don't you see what they do to me in the air? Did you hear what happened this morning?" He goes, "Yeah, but you get $90,000 to take that crap. I don't get paid anything here."
Yeah, but he does get paid.
He gets
Pat goes out and does appearances.
Paid in better appearances.
Yeah.
Well, his biggest beef is he's never come on here to advertise anything yet. Everybody else does.
So whose fault is that? I mean, I don't tell him not to promote anything.
What's the fun of coming here if you don't get something out of it?
Yeah, I mean,
I can't believe we're looking for logic.
I know, there is no logic. You're right.
Well,
stop looking for logic.
The calls are coming in saying they know where his past appearances are, so...
I got to say, we've already...
don't even think.
We've already been getting Pat sightings, Howard.
Leave Pat alone. Where did they see him?
Guy said he saw him on 47th Street yelling.
Oh, really?
Yelling down the street.
Get a map and put pins in it.
Yeah, we have like...
Moving this way.
It'll be like one of those Godzilla movies where the Japanese are tracking Godzilla. We can just have a big map.
It's like falling down. He's running around, walking around, ready to kill somebody.
Yeah, then we can have an ETA. He'll be here in 5 minutes.
We should get someone like video camera. If they see, get your video camera, tape Pat walking around.
America's Funniest Pat Cooper.
Right.
Oh, bye.
Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi. Did you get nervous at all that he was going to get physical?
Nah, I mean, I really didn't, but...
No, you were real feisty with him. You know,
I started getting pissed. Well, he's pretty old. I think I could take him out.
Oh.
I mean, I think I could have kicked his ass if worse came to worse. You know what I mean?
You're in better shape, but he's crazier.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know, he'll fight like a mental patient.
Well, that's
probably.
what Jackie said. You know, keep the retard factor in mind. You know, if a guy starts fighting like a retard, you're in trouble.
That's right.
I go, yeah, I'm sitting there doing practice karate mode.
Yeah, right.
He's not fighting by any rule.
Yeah, if he's in total abandon.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a New York City cop, and I've never heard even a mental patient go off his head.
Not to say that Pat
sounded like he was foaming at the mouth.
He was, though, because when you see it on TV, Jackie even said, do your impression of Pat doing everything in threes. It was like, yeah.
I told you that! I told you that! I told you! Now you're the big mouth! 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 Now you're the big mouth!
Yeah, right. When you
Actually, the first one he did was, I'm an A guest. I'm an A guest. I'm an A guest.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What do you tell your children? What do you tell your children? What do you tell your children? He was on the stuff! 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 He was on
All right, goodbye.
Very good.
Finally, an
I did that
impression.
for you, Patty.
Finally.
But Jackie's right. Jackie's right, Howard. They were always the multiples of threes, because sometimes they were sixes. There was one he did 6 times.
Which one was that?
I can't remember, but it might have been Now You're Under Stuff.
Something like that.
Yeah, when he got onto Sam Kinison and the drugs, he was really gone.
You know what we got to do tomorrow? We'll get a transcript of it, and then everyone can take turns being Pat.
Twice you're mad. 3 times you're incensed. When
Right.
it's 5, 6, or 7, it's like
off the scale. You're in the red zone.
skipping records.
The needle
Scott
is
should
penny.
run that off. He should run that.
Yeah.
He should run that off. He should run that off.
It's all being taken care of.
Oh man. Almost fainted. Now see, how does
he have the energy?
I almost fainted just from doing that.
I know, your
skull
skull turned red and your veins were popping on
But
your
he
head.
does that for like 10 minutes and he starts to shake and gets.
And you know what? And that's why.
He didn't even turn red.
But that's why Pat Cooper's going to live to be 100, because he has nothing inside.
Yeah, he.
I was afraid he was going to have a heart attack right here on the floor.
Roseanne's a putz. You're up her ass. You're up her ass.
Yeah, right. That was the big one. That was Roseanne.
You know, this was good. That was the first one he did where he really repeated like 6 times. Because me and I looked at Fred and we were.
But didn't you get fooled for a minute when Pat finally did sit down? Didn't you think, okay, Pat's sitting down?
Yeah. I thought he sat down for a second.
A second, he leapt right back up.
Yeah. And then at one point, Pat had his finger in my face, and I had my finger in his finger, and I was like we were sword fighting.
When you said, "Now it's your turn to listen," I thought, "What the hell is he doing?"
I don't know. I got carried away.
Going over the cop.
Oh, I'm not gonna have some guy sitting and yelling at me.
Well, yeah, that was pretty wild when you started saying, "Now wait a minute," because you started to get serious. I said, "What is going on here?"
I got caught up in it. No, because I heard a lot of things, like a lot of subtle things, that I kind of knew what he was talking about, and I said, you know. Hey man, this guy's out of line. You know, this is way. You know, now he's bad mouthing me.
When he got on Sam, that guy.
Yeah, and also he was bad. Yeah, I mean Sam.
You're
Sam
going to pee on his grave.
Yeah, don't stand. I really don't. I mean, I know there's no logic in this, but I don't understand how you not calling Pat enough has anything to do with whether Sam took drugs or not and whether he was funny when he took them.
That's my point. There was a whole bunch of issues that obviously Pat's been arguing about.
Well, what was so obvious to me was that he had gone back and read the book because he was quoting.
He was quoting like who I call Jackie Mason a genius.
I said he got so angry he went back and read the book.
Now, Howard, a jealous girlfriend.
Is Pat mentioned in the book?
Yes.
And he's on the
very funny.
He's upset that you call him a genius. But you also call other people geniuses.
No, he wasn't even a genius.
I like when he says, I'm going to tell you something. I am a genius. What was the line?
I am the genius of me.
Of me? Hey, I can't argue with that.
We could spend a week with the 5 minutes that he was in here.
Oh.
Spend a week with that tape.
Oh, it was hysterical.
Yeah. Well, I say, you know what you got to do? Get a transcription of it so we can, like, repeat stuff.
You can't take away my dignity. You can't take away my dignity. You can't take away my dignity. My mother tried to take away my dignity. My mother tried to take away my dignity. My father tried to take away. You can't take away my dignity.
You know, if you actually count the amount of sentences he did, and you take out the repeats, he only said like 3 things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was out of here.
Yeah.
He said that they wouldn't let him defend his dignity.
Right. What does that mean?
No more.
No more.
No more.
No mas.
I'm
No
an
more.
A person.
No, but
I
no
just
more.
elevated myself to an A. I'm an A person.
I just elevated myself.
Becoming Jim from Taxi.
Yeah.
You call me a B? I'm an A.
I don't think this. Sit down. Leno calls you up. No, I can't go on. No, I can't go on. Leno calls you up. No, I can't go on. Leno calls you up. No, I can't go on.
And then after he says that, he goes, now I'm going to dish it out. You got to take it. I go, well, take what? That I don't go on Leno?
But after he did the Leno thing, he goes, no, you're too busy. That was like his impersonation of you of turning down the show.
No, I got a wife and 3 kids, and I got a lot of things that I do. Maybe I don't have time to do Leno right now. Is that okay?
You got to go on first.
Yeah, that drives him nuts. Hey, that's my rules.
Oh, it was too much.
See, I saw that whole thing a different way. I saw that as him saying, hey, if you can demand things,
why can't I?
Why can't he demand things from us?
So what is he demanding?
I don't know.
No one knows.
He never asked for anything. He never said.
He now wants to be called and booked. Don't you get
it?
But
he's never.
But why?
But you didn't know he had changed the
rules. All right,
rules.
you know what? Let's drop the subject until tomorrow when we have all our tapes and everything.
You got to be able to look at the lines.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny.
Everyone can do the lines.
You know he is a funny man.
He's the greatest there is.
Who told you that?
Who told you that?
Who told you that? Who told you that? Who told you that?
Hey, let's call his first wife and kids and like bond with them.
Oh. It was so funny because then when you asked me a question, don't call your lawyer. Don't call your lawyer. Don't call your lawyer.
Oh man.
Who
told you that?
You know what's really strange, Howard? One morning after this that morning after this whole thing went on, he called me from his apartment yelling at me, and you could hear you on the radio cranked up in the background, and he's yelling at me while you're yelling at him
on the radio.
Oh, it was very, very weird.
Oh man, we gotta get a tape on your phone. Oh, that's great. I love it.
Amazing.
Hey, who's on the hotline? Maybe it's your dad. Maybe it's my father.
Maybe it's Pat.
Hello? Who is this?
Someone just screwed around, Howard.
Okay. It's probably my dad screwing around.
Maybe you can find your father on the phone.
Who told you that?
Take a break. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's do the news.
Okay.
And, we'll be back right after these words. We can do another 7 hours on the Pat Cooper appearance, but, Robin, I think it's time to chill out a little bit, do a little bit of news.
Yes, because it'll be much better with the audio, Howard.
Exactly. We'll take this up tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a whole nother show.
Now, I understand your in-laws are coming in for the holiday.
That's right.
Do you need a set of rules that they need to adhere to in order to get along with you?
Why? Is there rules in the paper?
Apparently, it's very difficult for families to get along at the holiday season. So there are always a set of rules published in the newspaper as to how to conduct yourself.
Right.
If you're a guest, I suppose.
Can I tell you how to do it?
Okay, go ahead. Let's see if you get it right.
I know what I do. If I find things annoying me, I just, bite my lip, and I...
Yes, but you're the host in this case. There really should be some rules for guests.
Oh, well, by all means. What are you telling me the rules? Tell my in-laws.
Well, I thought maybe you could lay this around.
I told you to tell my in-laws that. I told you to tell them that. I'm sorry.
Just casually lay this around the house somewhere where they're bound to see it, and maybe they will...
Go ahead. Give me the rules. I would like to hear this.
I think the first one means nothing to you. It says, know your forks. If you're at Thanksgiving dinner, no.
Please.
That means nothing. Probably the dress doesn't bother you either. They're saying dress preppy.
Well...
Nothing too outlandish. No black, no leopard print.
I just wish my father-in-law would keep his shoes on and not put his greasy feet up on my couch.
Bring something so it doesn't look like you're such a moocher.
Right.
Choose discussion topics wisely.
No one in my family ever brings anything because they all figure I can pay for it.
Yeah. They just assume that you're Mr. Gotrock, I suppose.
They're like Jackie. They assume I've got, tons of money.
So they don't have to bring a thing except themselves.
Right. Don't speak to Howard on that list?
It says we'll choose discussion topics wisely. I thought that would be a pertinent one for your situation. And in your case, it would probably be avoid anything that has to do with business.
Yeah, but they
just
won't.
Talk to you about general topics of interest to everyone so that everyone could participate in the conversation. It would be all directed at you.
No, this will be my mother-in-law. Howie, how's everything? Tell us, Asya, what are you doing? What about the movie? Why have we not heard anything?
Oh, dear.
My father-in-law will be like, that's right, what about the movie? Are you writing it? Yeah, no, we're still working on it. Why?
Do they know about the director and all that stuff?
Yeah, oh, boy.
That'll be a big discussion, I
So
suppose.
tell me, what happened with John Avildsen? Why is he not directing the movie? No, he still might direct the movie. You know, Reicher Entertainment had a problem. I had no problem. Oh, there was a problem? No, not really. I mean, you know, we were working on a script, and I don't know, then they decided to get different writers in on the script. What does that happen often? Oh, I just want to kill myself. I'd rather spend Thanksgiving with Pat Cooper.
Yeah. All right, they say be nice to the nephews and nieces.
I wonder where Pat's going to spend Thanksgiving.
Probably alone with that attitude.
Yeah, he's got to calm down. I want to break bread with you.
Do people in the house offer to help out with the dishes and stuff like that, or do they also just sit around waiting to be served?
Depends on the person. Like my sister just sits around. She doesn't lift her ass. She starts whining that she had to work all week.
Oh,
I work now. I can't lift my ass. My brother-in-law is great. He lifts his ass. He does everything.
Yeah?
Yeah. There are people who don't help out, namely me. Me and my sister sit there. Me and my sister and my father sit at the table
and wait.
And my mother's a real doer.
Yeah, she's in the kitchen.
And it'll be the same thing. My mother comes in. What we usually do is order out the turkey and stuff from various places, and then it has to be heated. And my mother will come in and the oven will be preheated. Of course, my wife won't start the oven preheating until 5 minutes before, but she should have it heating all day. And my mother will insist that you can't heat mashed potatoes in a microwave oven.
Oh, boy.
And so she'll take this big ceramic pot that she has, put the mashed potatoes in the regular oven. We'll all stand there and then wait for these mashed potatoes to be hot. She'll bring them out. My father will take them and go, these potatoes are cold. Then it'll be, my mother will take them into the kitchen again and say, all right, heat them in the microwave oven, but keep the lid on. And I'll say, Ma, I know something about microwaving. If I took these mashed potatoes and put them in a plastic Tupperware, don't put the potatoes in a Tupperware. The microwave doesn't know the difference. Keep it in it's a big, thick ceramic. It never heats. And my mother will put it in the microwave oven. The ceramic pot won't fit into the oven, so it won't spin around. It won't spin around in the microwave.
Oh, dear.
Then she'll put it in for another 5 minutes. They still won't be heated, and everyone will eat ice-cold potatoes. My father will just scream the whole time. My father will have this he won't even scream. He'll just have a miserable look on his face. That's Thanksgiving at my house. And my mother-in-law will ask questions and then ignore the answers because she's busy with the kids. She won't even sit at the table with the adults.
It sounds like she hears one key word and she harps on that.
Yeah, and my father-in-law will drone on with questions. Oh, I see a plane is coming overhead. Do you think that plane's going to LaGuardia or Kennedy? I go, Bob, I don't even know how to get home from work.
Do you watch the football games with them?
I watch with my brother-in-law, Bruce. He's kind of fun. He's like real manly and knows everything about football, so I'll watch with him. But as soon as I sit down, Bob will start asking me questions about my work.
Yeah. So they can't even keep their mind on the football game?
And then my father-in-law will be downstairs. He goes into my office. Now he's been forbidden from this. My wife had to inform him. I told her to call her father and tell him this.
Oh, no.
He used to go down in my office.
First time he's gotten this new rule?
Second. He last, like 2 times ago, he came over. He goes into my office. He pulls all my videotapes out of the shelf, takes them, and he starts making copies of them.
Really?
Because he wants to watch them at home. He never watches them at home. Then he leaves and the videotapes are all over the house. I don't know where they are. I will go to watch them. I can't find them. And I blow my stack. I go to my wife, my office is sacred. Your father is not allowed to walk into my office. That's the new rule, honey.
Because I was going to ask, it says be discreet here.
No.
Do they treat your house like it's theirs?
They treat it like it's theirs. No, they treat their house better.
Oh.
And my mother-in-law freaks out whenever we go over that little tiny apartment that's way too small for the family, and on purpose. And we go over there, and she freaks out if anything's out of order. But in my house, everything's going to be completely out of order, and it's okay. Then I blow my stack.
Are your newest in-laws coming? Your sister-in-law and her new husband?
Oh, no.
Oh. Because it says here that if you're not a quiet lover, you shouldn't even try to make love in somebody else's house.
No, please. If they make love in my house, I'll throw them both out. You're not married till you have 2 or 3 kids. You don't make love in my house unless that's it. No, I don't want to deal with it. And then I just know the whole thing with the potatoes is going to be ridiculous. If they handed those mashed potatoes to me and I stuck them in a plastic Tupperware, they would be heated in 2 seconds.
Where did these mashed potatoes come from? Are they?
My mother makes mashed potatoes.
Okay.
It's her big thing. Meanwhile, I could go out and buy 500 quarts of mashed potatoes that are better. So she makes these mashed potatoes. She peels them. She chops them up. She puts butter, tons of butter, way too much butter. That's why she's got a big fat ass. And she puts all this butter in there. And then she loads them up. My kids love it. They beg her for them. And they come in. They're ice cold every year. Every year. And I could heat them up in 2 seconds, but nobody wants to listen to me, so I just sit quiet.
Now, the turkey does get hot.
Oh, no.
Oh, the
that gets heated. Either? And, again, my mother insists on tinfoil being over the turkey. Oh, it'll be dry. It'll dry out. Helen, it'll dry out. And I go, Ma, if you took the tinfoil off, the turkey would heat. No, it'll dry out. So as a result, it's ice cold. It always sucks. The mashed potatoes suck.
Don't you love these family gatherings?
And then I tell my sister just to make some vegetables, because she makes vegetables.
Yeah.
And she always puts some butter on them. I said, can't you just steam the vegetables and put my own butter on? I'm going out and playing cards Friday.
Are you?
Yeah, to bring my brother-in-law, Dominic. We banned Dominic from the card games.
You can't do that.
Well, I know. He's back in somehow. Dominic cheated the last time we played cards in a bad way.
He let
fixed
you
the deck.
win.
He fixed the deck for me twice because he's in love with me.
Oh.
I might as well be a woman. Howard never wins. I'm going to fix the deck. So we fixed the deck. Now everyone's pissed off. So now he's been begging
to get back in
the game.
Have you played any card games without him?
No. We want to play without him, but no one can because he pays for the hotel and he pays for all the food.
That's what I thought. He's the guy with the money.
So he buys his way back into the game. But since he cost everyone all that money since he fixed the deck twice and gave me 4 aces,
yes,
he has to reimburse everyone.
Is that right?
Yeah.
To
except
get back
for me.
in.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
so in essence, it'll be a card game with Dominic paying all the money.
I'm glad that you're going to have a good time on your Thanksgiving weekend. Sounds delightful.
I might have Thanksgiving at Scores. Do they throw a Scores Thanksgiving with just strippers?
Sure they would.
Enjoy your meal.
Howard Stern's Thanksgiving and Christmas special from Scores, where Howard breaks bread with all the Scores girls. I'm working on that.
It's amazing.
Now, let me take a break here.
All right, because then I'm going to come back and tell you about your friend, Warren Littlefield, who's in town. Why isn't he here?
I don't know. Why would he be here?
You're praising him to the hilt. You'd think he'd come in and thank you.
No. What is it?
Dominic Barber keeps calling.
What does he want?
He keeps going, I don't know, he keeps going, the card game.
Yeah,
talk about the card game.
We talked about it. Get off the phone.
I'm representing Pat Cooper.
Yeah.
I am.
You ever hear anything like that?
I'm meeting him at 1 o'clock.
Did you ever hear anything like that?
Frightening. It was scary, but I think it's got nothing to do with you. It's got to do with the full moon and the season.
Listen, we're playing cards again, but a lot of the guys are still pissed.
Well, I have to wear a dress. That's the deal.
I hear the guys are plotting something. They're going to steal Dominic's pants.
No,
we're going to strip him and pink belly him.
No, I'll have to wear a dress, and I've agreed to do it.
All right.
Well, no more cheating this time.
How come I never get invited?
Because you never come. You with Baby Jackson.
No one ever invited me. I've never.
You want to come? You want to come?
Well, what day is it?
Friday.
Wait a
I
minute.
can probably make it. No,
I can probably make it. We don't. You see, Gary, here's why you're not invited. You don't say to guys, "I can probably make it." You got to make a commitment. Either you're coming or not, because you show up and then no guys are there.
Right.
Yeah, Howard, you decide right away. You don't go home and ask Allison.
No, I told Dominic. Dominic picked up the phone. He said, "You want to play Friday?" I said, "Are the guys letting you play?" He goes, "I called everyone and apologized." I said, "I'm in." I'm going to ask my wife's permission.
Absolutely.
You know what? If I got to ask my wife's permission, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a gun and shoot myself. How's that? Then life is over.
Howard's a man. I'll say anything to play.
Dominic's the man.
But I thought Gary said he didn't play cards.
Dominic's such a man, he'll leave his house. He won't even tell Irma where he's going.
I told Gary we're playing. You know what he said to me?
When?
Gee, I don't know.
When did you
Maybe
tell?
I can.
You lying bastard.
Hey, last time we played, you didn't show up.
Lying.
You were invited once.
No,
You didn't
I
show
wasn't.
up.
Of course I did. You guys.
You want to play Friday?
You guys.
Pussy boy, you want to play? You want to play? I'll take your money.
You guys played on vacation. No one invited me.
Would you like to play Friday?
I'll see about it.
Well, then forget it. Who needs you? How many guys we got so far?
We have more people than we ever had before.
That's going to be the real Thanksgiving. I want traditional card game. turkey, trimmings, everything.
I'm making some platter, let me tell you.
Come look at the platter. Look at the platter. Howard, I'm so happy I'm back in with the in-crowd.
Who's playing?
We've got Don.
Don?
I'm trying to get him in.
Yeah.
Wayne.
I was looking for the fun in that.
Yeah, where's the fun in that?
Wayne, Neil.
You might as well bring your father.
Yeah.
No, Don, not that Don. Don.
Don. Oh, the other Don.
Yeah, the other Don.
Okay.
And
Don Corleone.
make a guest appearance for a short time from the good senator.
Oh, good. Senator D'Amato wanted to play.
A guest appearance.
Hey,
how about the governor?
I figure we can take him in about an hour.
No Joey?
He was on Saturday Night Live.
That's just outing. No, I don't know if Senator D'Amato would be fun in a card game.
Not just for an hour. We'll take his money and send him home.
You hear Dominic's bus door going in the back?
That's his wife's vibrator. You don't think Dominic can satisfy anyone? I'm just kidding. Irma would never use a vibrator. She's a very, very beautiful woman. And I'll tell you something, you should treat her better. He leaves his house. He don't even tell her where he's going. Of course she minds. But what are you going to do if you're married to Dominic?
You know what she did? She did that at start. It's all predictable.
Goodbye. Now there'll be 900 guys at the game.
I don't even know who he said was going to be there.
This guy Don who plays with us, Wayne. Don is Wayne's boss. And he's a good guy. Quite frankly, I like Don better than I like Wayne. And Neil, Ralph, Ronnie.
Oh, because he didn't name all those people.
Yeah,
He said more people than ever before, and he said Don and Wayne.
So my brother-in-law's coming.
Yeah.
You can't play cards with 900 guys. Maybe we'll have 2 tables. You going to come? I'll have 2 tables. Why don't we do?
It doesn't appear that I'm invited.
I just invited you. What do you want? An invitation?
You're sounding like Pat Cooper.
Yeah. I got to be cold.
I'm on a B list for the card game.
You want to be in? You play cards?
I'm not that good. But that's okay. I'm willing to bring money, and I'm willing to play.
You want to have fun? Norman's going to play.
How much do you need to be in? What's 100, 200?
Yeah. You can play for whatever you want. I think what we ought to do if you have a lot of guys.
Is Scott coming?
Scott will probably be there so he gets permission. There's another guy's got to call home for permission. Scott, you playing? What, you want to see a pussy whip man? Hold on, wait a second. Wait, the definition of pussy whip is going to walk right in.
Well, the reason why it's taking so long to come in is because he's dialing home right now.
Yeah, he's getting quick permission.
He gets auto dial, gets permission, and runs in.
Yes, sweetheart.
Yes, dear. Yes. I know. Yes. I'm going to go. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You playing?
No.
Why?
I'll be away.
Oh, family function?
Yes.
Where are you going to go? Where are you going?
What's his address?
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Your wife's sister?
Yes.
Oh, sounds like a party.
Queens.
Sure you don't want to play cards?
I can't.
Have to be there.
If I was in town, I'd play. If I was in town, I'd play.
This kills Scott, because Scott loves to play cards more than anything with us. And all we do is goof on him the whole card game. I don't know why he enjoys it. We sit there and just laugh every time he loses a hand, and he loses every hand.
You know what? As bad as you guys are, you're not as bad.
That's right. And he professes to be this great card player, and I've never seen him win yet. I don't even see him win a hand. And then you know what he wants to do? He invents all these stupid games so guys get so confused. So he can win.
Well, look, that's another argument altogether, because he and Dan swear that this is the way you're supposed to play cards. You're supposed to have all these different stupid games.
That's if you're gay, you play cards. Not a stupid game. A man plays poker, 7-card studs. AC Doozy. Good, Dominic. You guys have your own separate card game. I don't need to.
You guys play like a lot of wild cards?
No. It's straight. Of course. Well, that's what they all want. That's what Scott wants. He wants to make the game so confusing that I sit there and go, I need help. I got to have a guy tell me if I have a good hand because no one can figure it out.
I wind up throwing away a great hand.
Yeah. They play a game high-low. I go, I don't know from low. I know I get a high 5-card stud, 7-card stud. Play a game that I know. He goes, let's play high-low with 5s. You know what I'll do? I'll make a cross in the middle of the table. It'll be 5s and 4s or wild. And then if you any cards, you can discard cards. And it's like, well, hey, no wonder, Scott.
With a 7. What is that?
Who knows?
Have you ever played baseball? Baseball, 7-card stud, 3s and 9s are wild, 4 you get an extra card.
Yeah, oh please.
No, I don't want to play those
Scott
games.
loves that.
I don't want to play those games.
Because Scott would win because no one knows what the hand is.
No.
It takes a guy 9 hours to figure out how to divide the pot up.
Just wanted to play high-low. I don't want to play all those wild card games.
Yeah, well, you know what? Why don't you go play at your sister-in-law's house?
Okay.
All right, maybe you can get a game together there. Don't play with me. Learn how to play. Play like a jerk.
Play high-low.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I played.
I'd rather play with Pat Cooper than you. He makes more sense than you. You going to play, Gary?
I really have to.
Are you going to be able to tear yourself away from Baby Jackson?
Hey, come on.
Isn't it your turn to watch Jackson?
Oh, yeah, maybe your wife needs a break so she can get some, some downtime.
Hey.
Don't you want to have quality time with Baby Jackson?
I do want to have some quality time.
When are you going to get sick of that whole thing?
You know exactly what's going to happen. He's going to go home and Mary's going to say, oh, this is your day off and you're going to leave?
Oh, thanks. Well, actually, I've been trapped in the house all week. Maybe I want to go out and play cards.
To be very honest,
just walk out of the house.
The limit is that my brother and nephew are in town in Texas, and I might want to take my nephew. That's the dilemma. Okay. But if I take him out on Saturday, I'll complain.
Do me a favor. Why don't you just say no now?
Why?
Because you're a pussy. You're not going to play. Good. Thank you. You don't even want to play.
I do want to play.
You want to play? Then say yes.
Hey, I got family obligations.
All right, good. Goodbye. I got 20,000 people. That's why I'm playing cards.
Yeah, but you're the king of your family. You get to tell them what to do.
So when are you going to be the king of your family?
I got fathers, brothers. I'm not going to wait for the family.
Fathers and brothers.
I'm in charge of my nephew and little else.
What's that crap in your teeth? Take a big smile. Get a close-up on Scott's teeth.
Oh, it's a big poppy seed from his bagel.
Yeah, good. You're even less appetizing. All right, let's take a break, and we'll continue with the news right after these. Obviously, an exhausting and trying show for all of us.
Possibly seeing the loss of a dear friend.
Yes.
Who knows?
Well, we'll analyze tomorrow. Meanwhile, Robin, we have so much more news to get to.
I wanted to talk to you about Warren Littlefield. I see in the paper today that he does not want to end his career with the black mark of having lost the late-night franchise that once belonged to NBC.
Isn't he a young guy? Why is he ending his career already?
I don't know, but it sounded to me like he is having those feelings that usually occur to a president once he gets in office. Everything he does, he thinks of in terms of history.
Yeah.
Rather than thinking of, well, what's the right thing to... Well, how will this look when they write it in history?
Don't you dare criticize Warren Littlefield. That guy's a genius. When you have accomplished what Warren Littlefield has accomplished, this man... Do you watch the show...
What has he accomplished?
Name it. Name it in show business.
Has he performed?
He started out as a writer in films. He wrote the movie E.T. Do you ever look at who wrote E.T.?
I don't know.
Warren Littlefield. No, how do you think he got famous? He wrote E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
I got to look this up.
He did. Go look in your movie. You don't even know who wrote it.
I don't know who wrote it.
After he wrote E.T., he got hired by NBC to do the late-night programming, the programming thing.
Yes.
The reason they hired him is so they can get him as a writer cheap. He wrote, like the new show ER, he's the head writer on that. He wrote all those episodes. He wrote the first 6 homicide scripts. He wrote
Barry
2
Levinson
scripts.
had nothing to do with it.
Do you watch Seinfeld?
Yes.
He writes with Seinfeld and Larry David, okay? I know this. He came up with the whole... Don't do a show about nothing.
That was his idea.
It was. There's nothing on that show.
Show is about nothing.
Such a creative mind, this guy, that it's like fertilizer. He just lays it down. He told Paul Reiser to take Richard Lewis's act.
Well, then he's a very smart man, and
sure
there'll be no problem with him putting late nights on NBC back in the #1 spot. His game plan, he says, is to have The Tonight Show even with late night by the end of this year and ahead of it by 1995.
How's he plan to do that?
He says that he is on the phone with Jay at least every day. When he's in California, he visits him 3 times a week.
Oh, that's the worst. Poor Jay.
At night, when he's on the phone with Jay, he talks to him about what worked and what didn't on the show.
Did he tell Pat Cooper to be like a little wild and nutty, and that'll help him in his career?
I think he's advising Pat.
Oh, really? He calls Jay? Oh,
yes,
Jay must really like that.
He says, I speak to him nightly by phone about what worked on the show and what didn't and why.
Here's your report card, Jay. I got a feeling, though.
Stops by the Tonight Show offices 2 or 3 times a week and has helped devise high-powered formats for the Tonight promos during NBC's prime-time hours.
That's very bad what Warren's doing. He should not take credit for Jay's raise. Jay has gone up in the ratings. They're now about a 10th a point apart.
And
when
he
a guy,
is taking credit.
He is. He's like, he goes up and he goes, well, of course.
Call me.
You didn't hear from Warren when the show was in the dumper. He was making 3 phone calls a day. All right, but listen, he's entitled. He's written all those great shows. He wrote E.T., you know.
He says now that he's, got the Tonight Show on track, he has to work on re-energizing Monday nights between 8 and 9, where the Fresh Prince and Blossom have been losing steam.
He'll write a new show, that's all.
And in January, he hopes to shore up his Tuesday and Thursday schedule.
Oh, he'll do it.
So he's really looking over the whole lineup there. He's going to fix everything.
He'll fix it. You'll see. Don't laugh. I'm telling you. You know when he was a kid.
Feel for Jay.
You don't even know about
phone calls.
Isn't that great? Yeah, but Warren, you would take those phone calls from him. He's so bright. I mean,
of course.
Do you know, this is something that killed me. I read about this guy as a child. The Peacock, the NBC Peacock was his idea. He mailed it into NBC as a lark, as a kid, as a school project, and they adapted that to their logo. They adopted it as their logo. They can adapt anything.
When they went through that whole color thing, he came up with the idea of the peacock.
Yeah.
He invented color.
He invented color.
He didn't invent color, but he colored it inside the lines of the peacock. Give you that. Guy was a young kid.
All right.
Brilliant man.
There are a couple of legal actions I would like to discuss with you and see what your Solomon-like mind would say about them.
I'm very clear on the law. Go ahead.
First of all, the Heidi Fleiss case out in California. They've had a number of witnesses come up and talk about how Heidi arranged for girls to come in and perform acts for undercover cops for $1,500.
Right.
They had videotape and a lot of witnesses.
All right.
Now, the defense contends that Heidi was entrapped. That if they hadn't been so insistent upon her providing them with this service, she would never have done this thing.
I see.
And they're contending that the law doesn't really look at the prostitution as a serious crime because they never prosecute the Johns.
Go ahead.
That's their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to win this case?
Okay. First of all, let me just say that there's no such thing as entrapment. That's number one. In other words, Robin, if I came to you and I said, Robin, I got $10,000 right now, please, I got to have sodomy. Either you are into it or you're not. That's not entrapment.
Well, let me ask you this.
Right.
If you know that I can procure you something and that I do it for money for others, but you can't get those others to testify and you can't catch me doing it, is it all right to then set up a sting operation where you're wiring people to come in and get me on tape doing what I do?
Yes.
Okay.
No problem with that.
All right.
That's building a case. Because nowadays you got to build a case. O.J. Simpson, they got everything on him, but they don't have an actual videotape of him slicing the girl's head off. So you can see already, it throws the case into confusion. You got to have, believe me, if they had a videotape of him slicing the head off, they would still say it was fixed. So you got to have, entrapment. Now it would be entrapment. You pushed them to it. So there is no such thing as entrapment. Anything goes in law enforcement as far as I'm concerned.
All right, so you're okay
Having
with
said
all of that?
Okay with all that. So
evidence.
The problem I have in cases of prostitution is the case of people not paying taxes. This drives me nuts. I can't stand the fact that people, I don't mind prostitution. Make them pay taxes. That's all I say. They're making money without paying taxes. It drives me nuts that I got to pay taxes, and there's this whole underground economy that doesn't pay tax. Makes me crazy. And I pay taxes on everything. If I make a club appearance, if I did anything, always paid the tax. Because, you know me, I get caught. So I want others to pay taxes. That drives me nuts. Having said all this, the case that drives me nuts is this Mayflower madam here in New York. Here she was, a whoremongerer, and she never did a day in jail. I think it's hypocritical that she never did a day in jail. If prostitution is illegal, absolutely the madam and the Johns should all go to prison. I don't think it should be illegal. I think it should be a taxable business, and that's that. Now, Having said all this, you're asking me what's going to happen with Heidi Fleiss.
Heidi Fleiss case, yes. Would you get
Heidi Fleiss will be convicted of something. I don't know. I can't tell you what the judge will hand
Well, this
to
is
her.
a jury trial, and
But the judge will have to hand a sentence.
Yeah, but I'm not asking about the sentence. Will she be convicted?
Yes. It's a high-profile case. There's enough pressure in this case. She will be convicted. There's tax evasion.
Well, that's a different case. That's not the case here. This is just the prostitution.
Oh, just the prostitution?
Of the prosecution.
Yes, she will be convicted of something there.
All right.
And she'll be convicted of tax evasion.
Well, that's probably true. Her father, too?
I don't know the story on the father. I don't really know it.
Well, he's a part of that case. I just...
All right, throw him in jail.
Throw him in jail. Okay. In London, doctors mistakenly implanted the wrong embryos in 2 mothers undergoing test tube fertility treatment. But they realized their mistake quickly, and neither implantation resulted in a birth.
All right, so what's the problem?
I just find that fascinating in terms of, suppose this had gone
to term.
Full term. Both these women wound up pregnant and had babies. Now, whose baby would go in? You always said the woman who had the baby is the mother. So just because of the genetic thing, you would not put those babies.
The egg is the mother. That's what I say. Because, technology keeps changing. You got to keep revising. Of course, I used to say whoever had the baby, whoever thought you could take an egg and stick it in someone else. Whoever's egg it is the mother. And whoever's sperm it is the father. That's it.
All right, let's go with the scenario here then, okay? Because this is test tube baby, so it was the egg.
By the way, I want to go on record saying test tube babies and all of this transplantation is ghoulish and should not be done under any circumstance. But go ahead, yes.
It was the egg of one woman and her husband's sperm, let's say.
Yes.
Planted that into the wrong woman.
Go ahead.
So now she is having the baby of the other couple.
She is what they call an oven. the person whose egg, you see, until you solve these cases, Robert, until you have a clear definition of who the mother is, like I do, these will never stop. Because there'll be legal battles, lawyers will get rich, they'll be fighting over these babies.
Because in the Mary Beth Whitehead case,
that was all handled wrong.
You said this woman spent 9 months cooking this baby. She developed ties to
it. It was her egg.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Well, this woman, she provided her hormones, her blood supply, and everything.
I don't care.
To this foreign baby.
No. Whoever.
Which baby would she want?
I don't care what she wants. I am the judge. You asked me to judge. I told you it's all simple. Nothing to do with it. Mary Beth Whitehead's egg was her egg.
Right, that's true.
And she was impregnated by a guy named Stern. I remember his name.
Yes.
Because I had the same name. And the guy wanted to take custody of the baby with his wife. And I said, no, the mother should get custody. Mary Beth Whitehead should have raised that child. Now, in this case, now you got a whole new thing. You got new eggs being transferred into somebody else's body, and then some guy getting those eggs pregnant. Whosever egg it was is the mother. That's it. And you could take that egg and put it...
at birth,
you could put it in the body of a chicken.
Grab that baby from that woman
Yes.
and say, no, this is not your baby.
That's
your
right.
baby's over there.
That's right. And women would get scared. They wouldn't be doing this anymore. That's it. That's the end of it. Whoever's egg it is. And there can be no other definition. And let me tell you something. If all judges were as clear on the law as I am, the lawyers would be out of business. I would go, no need for lawyers. Whose egg is it? Raise your hand. It's my egg, Your Honor. It's your baby. Goodbye. But Your Honor, we want to argue. No argument. Goodbye. But Your Honor, you're being cold-hearted. That's right. Goodbye.
Well, I just wanted to ask because I want to know where you stand on these laws as these new technologies come up.
I am clear.
Now I see in the paper that some great scientist has come up with a way to change your genetics.
Oh, God bless him.
Not for
I
you.
want mine eradicated.
Not for you. It won't help you.
Fix Fred while you're at it.
But your offspring would then have these different genetics.
How do you fix genetics?
Well, what they did was they took one mouse.
Go ahead.
And they figured out how to grab a hold of the gene-producing material.
Go ahead.
and they shot the gene-producing material of one mouse into another mouse, and the new sperm was like the other mouse's sperm, not like the mouse that was making the sperm.
Listen, I got to tell you something. I got a penis the size of a peanut.
Oh, dear.
And if I could have my genetics changed, I would do it in a minute. I would beg my parents. I come from the worst stock there is.
Yes, but it won't change the way you look. It would just change the genetics you passed on.
Unfortunately, it's too late for me. But that would be a great thing. If I could have different genetics. But people got to be honest. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I really want to pass? You know, people get enamored with themselves. They want to pass on their genetics.
Well, that's what it's all about. And it was about that for you, too.
I guess they didn't look in the mirror when my parents made me. Put a mirror over the bed. There should be a mirror over everyone's bed, and they should take a good look at themselves before they procreate. Change your mind. I don't know how my parents looked at themselves and decided to have a baby.
I think they love themselves.
I have the worst genetics. You ever take a look at me? It's pathetic. I have to have long hair just to hide my skinny, scrawny neck. It fills out my face. I mean, it still look bizarre.
I think you're a little...
Only good gene I got is my feet and my hands. Can you imagine?
Your hair's nice.
Hair. Until it got ruined on my last haircut.
You haven't talked about that.
Don't wanna.
Oh, boy.
Look like an ostrich. When an ostrich is in, that's when I'll be in. My physical appearance is so distressing to me.
Remember the Navy woman pilot who...
Yes.
Who lost her life trying to land her plane on one of these aircraft carriers?
I know her last name, Holtzgreen.
That's right.
I know. I follow all these stories.
She crashed on October 25th. They just buried her at Arlington Cemetery yesterday. And do you know that some people... What?
They just buried her yesterday?
Yeah, I know.
Hasn't she been like a month?
October 25th. They just found her body last week.
Oh, my.
She was in the water.
Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my.
The thing that bothers me is just because a woman crashes a plane, immediately people have to cast aspersions on her qualifications.
Is that right? Is that what they're doing?
Of course. People have been insisting that maybe she shouldn't have been flying that plane because she wasn't qualified. She was the first woman to qualify to
maybe they rushed her
fly a combat
woman driver
plane.
Period.
And there are people out there who immediately just say, see, told you a woman wasn't supposed to be doing that. She wasn't qualified to do that.
Period.
Like no men ever crash planes.
Right. Men have crashed planes.
They've flown out of the sky every day. Nobody ever says the guy shouldn't have been flying.
Because the man don't get his friends like a woman does.
I resent that highly. Her own mother, while she's grieving, has had to release the woman's Navy records to prove that she was qualified to land that jet on an aircraft carrier. Shame on you people.
Sound like Nancy Sirianni-Martley, your very women's lib today.
George Pataki seems to have...
Does the water bloat you, like with those two little kids? I know the two little kids, they could hardly recognize them when they went into that lake because their bodies were so bloated.
Well, yeah, I don't know how they know that's really her.
Yeah.
Maybe they did some kind of dental impression or something.
They have to bury these people in piano boxes. They get bloated from the water like sponges. It's awful. Awful.
Holtgreen has gangrene.
Holtgreen. First of all, her sister is still on the E! Network. Dagny Holtgreen. What a piece of ass.
She is on the E! Network?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Of course you wouldn't know it. Nobody gets it.
Oh.
Only I would know that. They have to tell me. Well, what else, Robin? Anything?
So George Pataki seems to be having a little bit of trouble controlling Mario Cuomo.
Right.
In this lame duck period here as Cuomo is leaving the governorship.
Well, you know why. Mario Cuomo considers this his personal fiefdom, New York State.
Yes.
This is he gets the budget in when he wants to get it in. This is his. You can't just take this from him.
In a phone conversation yesterday morning, Pataki asked Cuomo to stop hiring and promoting state employees, to delay any new state contracts, and to impose a moratorium on other major state commitments that can be put off until after the new year so that when he gets into office, he can make these decisions because these will affect us for the next several years that he's in office.
And what did Cuomo say?
You don't need to do all this
That's
stuff.
a good thing to say. What did Cuomo say, the great orator?
Cuomo was not willing to make a commitment.
Of course not. Of course not. Why
he would
should
only take a look at the request, is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice.
Meanwhile, do you realize that they're still trying to figure out who the new U.S. Senator from California is?
Fred Norris.
Michael Huffington was running against Dianne Feinstein and paid about $27 million in his own money for the campaign.
Right.
And he won't concede. He now says that a whole bunch of the ballots were by illegal aliens. They weren't even people from California who were voting, but the people who run the elections out there say there was no evidence of major fraud in the
Let me ask you something.
So.
I know I go to the polls. They got your address down there. I can't vote illegally. Mm-hmm. How do illegal aliens?
Well, somehow they get fake papers, I suppose, and then they
want to vote so badly? Then let them vote.
And since that Proposition 187 and he was running strongly against illegal aliens, maybe they had a real stake. Unless he wants to pay for a recount, they're sticking with the results they have.
I see. So how many votes did Dianne Feinstein have over him?
I don't know, but they got down to the point where they were collecting. They had to look at the absentee ballots.
Wow.
That's how close the election was.
Nobody looks at those. Anything else in the news, Robin?
Let me just go through this real quickly to see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Oh, here's another one of these criminals we're letting out. Early next month, a guy named Reginald Muldrew.
Is he from this planet? Muldrew.
If he passes a battery of psychological tests, will be paroled somewhere in California.
You should have no problem passing those.
He's known as the pillowcase rapist.
Take this test.
He was convicted years ago of, among other things, raping 4 women and assaulting a child twice.
And what do they want to know from the test?
He was a suspect in 200 rapes.
So what do they want to know?
They want to just test him to see if he's okay now.
Who cares?
And they're going to let him out.
Unbelievable. 200 rapes. How is this possible? This is what I mean about these judges and these lawyers. They're all out of it. Allow me real power. Put me into... I have to overthrow everybody.
Now, here's a case that was never in question. They have thrown out the paternity suit filed against Michael Jackson. Did anybody ever think Michael Jackson was the father of a 10-year-old boy? This woman says that she was claiming that Michael raped her or something a couple of years ago. And she fathered her child. But the judge just said, DNA tests show that Michael is not the father, so they threw out the case and forbade her to bring any other kind of legal action against him like this again without the judge's approval. But I don't think for a minute anybody doubted Michael in that case.
Didn't they say Liberace raped her first, and then it was Michael Jackson? That was my theory.
In Washington, D.C., the Catholic bishops are still meeting, and they seem to be shocked that when they got to their rooms at the Omni Showroom Hotel, that films like Deep Throat and Debbie Does Dallas were available in their rooms.
Oh, my. Never mind that. Did you see the other film that was in there?
What?
Comedy's Dirtiest Dozen. They freaked out.
And they
at least there were no little boys in their rooms.
And they found out that these porn films are big sellers in hotels. Now they've got to figure out what to do about that.
Right.
There was a problem they didn't even know existed. They go to the hotel and they find out that porn films are hot items. Now they've got to take care of it.
Wow.
God bless those people. And our friend Michael Moriarty, who's now doing CNBC's Talk Live. He's going to be hosting that. He hosted it on Saturday night and announced that he was going to run for president because he's so upset with everything that's going on. This is the guy who used to be on that TV show, Law and Order, and then he claimed that they pushed him out because he said something to the Attorney General. Came here to complain about it. Well, now he's on CNBC Talk Live, and he announced that he was going to run for president, and he withdrew the very next day.
Very, very great.
Because he had no idea about the equal time rule.
Oh, I see.
And didn't realize how much of a problem it would cause. So he's no longer running for president.
I tuned in. I saw him playing the piano. He didn't even. He was playing the piano and singing. Michael Moriarty's show.
And speaking of the late night wars, David Letterman is bringing his mother back.
Oh, that's good.
He's going to have her on the show cooking Thanksgiving turkey via
great.
satellite.
That's a funny bit. He's brilliant. He
knows how to be.
He is so brilliant.
He brought out that secret weapon.
That's all right. Warren Littlefield is writing a bit for Jay that's going to counteract that. He's doing that right now in his house, in his bunker.
Okay.
He's right. He's going to have Jay build a spaceship and fly to Mars for Thanksgiving.
Just want Warren to know who he's tangling with.
That's right. Actually, Leno is going to bring back his mother, too. He's going to dig her up for Thanksgiving and stuff her.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be like Weekend at Bernie's. He's going to stuff her like a turkey.
Thanksgiving at Bernie's.
Thanksgiving at Bernie's. Yeah, Leno's going to mother and have her on.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be a great show. It's going to counteract Dave's mother.
Oh, boy. Well, it's getting nasty.
What was that, Jay?
More giblets, Ma.
Getting nasty in those late night wars.
This carcass is pretty full.
Stuck a pop-up timer in there. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, very good, Robin.
I just wanted to tell you that in the Post today, they have an exclusive story that says the prosecutor in the New Jersey town where that young girl who has accused Kelsey Grammer of sleeping with her when she was underage, he investigated but couldn't file charges because the young girl wouldn't cooperate.
I see.
So make of that what you will. The girl's parents are now suing Grammer for a large sum of money.
Very upsetting to see a man with such great talent under siege like this. Bad grammar.
And Cindy Crawford is denying that she and Richard Gere are Splitsville and that their marriage is over. She says their marriage is just fine, even though he's in London and she's in Los Angeles, and they haven't seen each other in quite a while.
Yeah.
It's a way to keep a marriage alive.
Let me tell you. Bet you can't wait to see her.
So that's what's happening.
Great, Robin, and I'll see you tomorrow. We'll have a jam-packed show for our big Thanksgiving program.
Our Thanksgiving show.
That's right. We're going to be analyzing the Pat Cooper incident now for the next several weeks. Also, we're going to have some mystery guests and various things going on tomorrow. Don't miss our big Thanksgiving show where we stuff Fred.
All right.
Hey, Jackie Newrave, Joke Page Martling, everyone's excited about your recent success. Just coming back from the big Patty Davis insult appearance. And now with his 78-minute CD or cassette, only $10 plus $3 shipping and handling. Holiday special, buy two, get one free. Call 1-800-323-KING. It's an important CD for your holidays. And also, tomorrow night, which is really the wildest night of the year, by anyone's definition.
The night before Thanksgiving.
Jackie jams with you at Rascals Comedy Club. A good way. You don't have to work the next day. You're up late with Jackie, featuring Jake Thomas on keyboards. Very rarely does Jackie bring in a keyboard guy, but this is it. For jokes and info, call 516-922-WINE. Remember, 516-922-WINE is not a pay service. And also, don't miss Boyd Gary, that's right, at Bazooka's in Secaucus, New Jersey on December 1st from 7 to 9 p.m. with the Bazooka Girls.
Woo!
By the way, on tomorrow's Thanksgiving show, Jackie will insult Jay Leno's mother to her face. She's going to dig her up and talk to her face. Don't miss Stuttering John appearing in Tony and Tina's wedding. And to get a signed copy of Stuttering John's debut CD, call 201-942-OUCH. How many times have I done bits with my mother and had her on and had her do all kinds of things over the years, for the past years? No one ever writes it up in the paper.
I remember the year that you had your mother cooking something on the air.
Yes.
That was in Washington.
That's right.
Nobody wrote a thing about it.
But Letterman, who just wised up to the whole bit, I know he puts his mother on. It's a big deal.
Yep. In fact, they're even calling for her to have her own show.
Yeah, good. I'd like to go up against it. If you're looking for a DJ for your office Christmas party, call Scott the Engineer's Rocket Entertainment at 718-BAG-5040. Many dates still available, which is very rare this time of year. Most people booking Scott early because he really is a lot of fun. And, Robin, I'll see you tomorrow. K-E. Ronnie like corners me with business questions now. Like
oh yeah.
Used to be Ronnie was my driver, and I'm coming up in the elevator today, and he's like, "Hey man," he goes, "You know these people who run the Ronnie block party?" I go, "No, I don't know any of them." He starts naming people like I'm supposed to know them.
Right, now you're supposed to remember these names.
Yeah, it's Ronnie's business venture. He goes, "I'm just checking. The guy bought." When he explains business, it's crazy. He goes, "The guy bought a Long Island theater," which means he rented the theater for one of their shows.
Okay,
but he goes, the guy bought a Long Island theater and he wants to show the movie Private Parts before the block party. Is that okay?
Oh.
And I'm like, I go, Ronnie, I don't own the movie Private Parts. Somebody wants to show it.
Paramount.
Yeah, that's Paramount's deal. I go, but, you know, the real answer is I fucking can't stand that block party, Ronnie's block party. I hate it. It's turned into my nightmare.
Yeah! We're here! Woo!
I don't give a shit about it.
Well, why don't you tell him that? Leave me alone.
Yeah,
Leave me alone, damn it.
Yeah, I just want to say, Ronnie, never ever be smart. Never bring up the block party to me. I fucking here. You want to know what I want? I want you to get rid of it. I want it to go away.
Don't ever say block party to me.
Yeah. And they're having some cruise with Beetlejuice. It's like anyone they can find off the show, and then it's like there's a whole little ancillary business. You know, Letterman's people don't do that.
No, there's no Letterman traveling circus.
Yeah, there's no. You know, the Daily Show doesn't have a traveling circus. Only I have that, and really, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want. Don't ask me business questions in the morning when I'm coming up in the elevator.
What's wrong? What did I do
Don't
now?
mention the block party to me.
Why? What did I do? What's wrong?
I mean, with that whole Private Parts and showing the movie before the block party, I don't give a fuck about them. I want the block party to die and go away. So every time you bring
But
it
that's
up,
not what. That's not true.
What's
What?
not true?
I was watching. What was I watching last night? I was just talking to Lieberman about it, about the pace car thing.
Yeah.
And you were on there,
right,
making comments.
Right.
And do you remember your comment?
What was it?
How you make people from around you.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice. So do me a favor. Don't bring up that block party to me.
All right.
Especially in the morning. I hate it.
I asked you. I'm trying to do the right thing and ask permission and not fuck up. I don't want to fuck up.
Talk to Gary about it.
Why would I talk to Gary about it?
Because I don't
You're
want to be confronted.
He's not Gary. It's not
Gary's
you.
the executive producer of the show.
Yeah,
don't talk to me. Listen, Ronnie, listen carefully.
I am listening
talk
carefully.
To me about your block party business. If you got business with the limo, that's what you are to me. You're my limo driver.
Understood.
And you're security. Do you want to talk about that shit with me? Fine. You want to talk about your fucking block party business? Talk to Gary.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
I want to hear about it. I fucking makes me want to throw up.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You know he doesn't understand anyway.
I understand.
I love how he says I'm listening while you're talking.
She always waits till I walk out. When I say something, go ahead. What'd you say?
Do you think that I could show the block party at the block party?
No, not me.
You think we could show the? Who is it then? I don't know this fucking guy you're in business with.
The guy asked me. The guy
in other words, the guy
asked me a simple question.
Yeah, the guy's got a direct pipeline to me through you. This is some fucking guy I never would pick up the phone on, and now I got to deal with him.
You're not dealing with him.
Yes, I am.
It's a simple thing.
I had to deal with you this morning, so this guy has a direct fucking pipeline to me through you.
It's a simple. It's a simple thing.
It's simple for you.
It's a yes or no answer. It was no big deal, I thought.
I don't like...
Then every answer is no.
Yeah, how about that? From now on, everything is no.
Okay.
That's all my answer.
All right.
Think of another question, and it's no. Okay, you got another question? So now, whatever question you ask me, it's no.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Okay, gotcha.
Like, in other words, do you think it's okay if this guy that I'm doing business with sells Howard dolls at the block party?
Who said that?
Nobody's saying anything.
I'm not talking to you.
What's the answer?
He's making an example.
I don't give a fuck about the block. I hate the block party. Now you know. I hate it. I hate that commercial you shot for your stupid fucking cruise. I hate it.
It's not a cruise.
Whatever it is. I hate that. I hate that all the people...
that was...
Beetlejuice is... I hate all that. No other show has that. I don't want that.
Well, that's not what you said.
I know. So I'm being a nice guy. So don't fucking bring up any more business.
All right.
So that this guy, whoever this guy is, has access to me. Talk to Gary.
He doesn't have access to you.
Yes, he does. Through you.
He goes, Ronnie, ask Howard.
No, that was my idea. Ask Howard because I don't want to make any mistakes.
You have an idea. Talk to Gary.
Okay.
Gary is going to be your.
That wasn't his idea at all. That was my idea.
Yeah. When you have an idea, as soon as you have an idea.
No, it was my idea to run it by.
No, whenever you have an idea, go to Gary. That's all I'm saying.
It wasn't my idea.
No, when you have an idea to come to me,
okay,
just say substitute Gary for me.
And then Gary's going to come to you and ask you.
Whatever. I feel
What's
more
the
comfortable.
Difference?
Oh, it's a big difference.
But Ronnie, can I help you out on this? The difference is he doesn't have to deal with it. I understand what he wants. I'm the buffer.
Okay.
That way
he's the guy who's going to tell you no.
He can give a true answer and not have to be embarrassed.
Here's what's going to happen. You're going to say to Gary, is it okay? Ask Howard if it's okay about the Private Parts movie. Ron, then Gary,
should I ask him now?
No,
you want me to ask him?
No, not in front of me. Then Gary comes to me. And
I already
Gary
asked you, and you said it's
meeting.
okay.
No, listen to me for once, and you'll learn how things work around here because you haven't figured it out.
Okay.
Gary and I will sit alone in a room, and I'll say to Gary, listen, I hate the fucking block party. Go to Ronnie and say, you're not even going to ask me, and just tell him no. It's not a good idea. That's how we do it. Gary pretends that he didn't ask me, and then when they say no, and then I'll go, hey, and then you'll say to me,
Gary will be the bad
and then, of course,
guy.
you won't be able to take that answer, and you'll come to me directly. I'll go, oh, gee, Gary didn't even tell me. Okay? That's what's going on, Ronnie. Ronnie, I hate the block party. I hate it. I'm putting up with it for some bizarre reason because I'm too fucking nice. But don't come to me with business questions about some fucking guy who's got an idea about showing Private Parts. I don't care about this guy. You know, when I was working 24 hours a day on that movie and writing it, writing the book and Len Bloom and all that, I wasn't dreaming one day it would be shown at Ronnie's block party.
What's wrong with that? It's for the
fans. I hate it. Don't worry about the fans. I'll worry about the fans. When did I put you in charge of the fans?
You didn't put me in charge. I asked a simple question, for God's sakes. I asked a simple question.
How about selling my books there, too? Maybe you could do that.
He's gonna
Give them to me. I'll sell them for you.
That's a great idea. That won't embarrass me at all.
It's a movie. It's a movie theater with
Ronnie,
a movie.
Just ask Gary.
I already asked you. You said it was
I said okay.
All right.
What am I going to say?
Oh, my goodness.
I don't want to deal with it.
Did you?
I did because I fucking can't say to people's faces. And he fucking knows that, too.
Oh, bull crap. You've told me no to things.
What did I tell you no to?
I don't remember, but you've told me no to things. No, you've told me no to things.
Name one.
I can't remember
because
right now.
I never have.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
What is it? Name it.
I don't remember.
You don't remember? You're saying I said no to things, but you don't remember.
I know you've said no to things
one of them.
to me.
Name one. Because there isn't one, Ronnie. Get out of here.
All right.
Now, how is this guy going to show the movie, Howard?
I don't know. Robin.
He's not going to go to Paramount and get a print. He's going to get a DVD.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be like watching on a DVD what you could do at home. He's not even going to have a copy of the film.
I don't know what he's going to have. Maybe he is going to have a copy of the film.
So you don't have any problem asking me that question.
Well,
first
before
thing in
I
the morning when I'm trying to read the fucking paper.
Before I find out that. No, we were in the elevator car.
What
I didn't bother you in the elevator. You weren't reading the paper in the elevator.
That's exactly what I was doing.
No, you weren't. You were talking to me.
No, I was reading the paper, and then you started talking to me.
Oh, so full of shit, man. We were walking up the fucking
Okay. So that's what you do. That's time for Ronnie's business hour.
There's no business hour. I asked
Leave
a
me
simple
alone.
question.
All I want to talk about is where the car is going to be and when you're doing security. That's it. I've given you a great life.
I know. I didn't say, what am I saying?
Hey, you think we could show the movie Private Parts before the block party? I hate the fucking block party.
And
I hate
imagine you're going to sit 2 hours of a movie, then the block party? Why do these people have to be tied up all day?
Instead of going to a block party, why don't you just drive me? There's a fucking concept.
I do this when I'm not driving you.
Yeah. Well, you could be spending more hours driving me.
I don't want to drive.
You don't want to drive? No. Oh, you want to be on stage yelling.
Yeah.
Representing the Howard Stern show. I'd rather have you drive me. That's what I'm paying you for, not to fucking go out. I didn't ask you to be the representative.
I didn't ask you. I never said I was the representative.
Right. So please don't bother me about movies. Be smart and keep quiet. What are you talking about? Go to Gary. And then I'll tell you no through Gary. Why would I go to Gary? Because I don't want. Do you understand? I don't want to answer you directly.
All right. I got you.
You're a guy I know over 30 years. I don't feel comfortable saying no to your face. I'm telling you that.
Okay.
I'd rather Gary do it.
Why?
Because I don't feel like being direct with you about your business.
You can be direct with me.
I don't feel comfortable.
You can say no.
I don't feel comfortable saying no. I'd rather do it through Gary.
What's your problem?
I have a problem.
Okay.
Okay. So now you know.
Okay. Gotcha.
So don't piss on me and fucking
I'm not
ask me questions.
pissing on you. How am I pissing on you?
By asking me correct
If I
questions.
pissed on you, I would just
Here's
go
my
ahead
answer.
and do it.
My answer is no.
Without
to
even
everything.
saying anything.
My answer is no to everything.
Okay.
Okay. Now you know the answer.
Not to this, though. You already said yes.
Yeah, go have fun showing my fucking movie. Why don't you show the Ronnie
What's
movie?
wrong with that?
Show
What's
the
wrong
fucking
with showing
Ronnie.
your movie?
I don't want anything to do with you guys and your fucking block party. I hate it. It's an embarrassment to me.
So tell us to shut it down.
I told you I didn't feel comfortable doing it.
Well, then tell Gary
You
to tell us
down.
to shut it down.
All right, well, maybe I'll do that then.
All right.
If you're smart, you don't bring anything up. Just go out and do your block party. You don't tell me about it. Yeah, you
No,
know?
you'd rather find out after it's done and I've done it and didn't ask you about it.
No.
And then you'll really
Use
be
your
mad.
head. What do you have to show the movie private parts for? What is that? You're not having enough success? Why does my movie
It was
have
just
to be
an idea that somebody came up with, and all you had to do was say no.
Somebody has worked their way into my life through you. I don't know this fucking guy. Who is this fuck?
It's a guy who's a promoter who's buying the show.
I don't care. I don't want this guy in my life through you. I shouldn't even know about this
All right,
guy.
so we won't do it then.
Thank you.
Okay?
Okay. Why don't you show your home movies? You ever make home movies?
No.
Well, make a home movie and show it to your fucking audience. Why you got to show me over there?
They show it on TV. I don't understand what the big deal is.
Do whatever you want. Then why'd you ask me about it? If
Because
it's not a big deal?
I feel it's the right thing to do.
Then don't bother me with it. Go to Gary. I told you that.
Can't win here.
Why don't you play tapes of the show too with there?
Play tapes of the show.
What's the difference? What's the difference in the movie?
Talking about?
Well, why don't you do that?
Showing tapes.
Why don't you show tapes of the show? Show Ronnie movies. Make a movie and show it.
No, but then you'll be mad about that too.
I'm not mad about that.
Yeah, you would.
Go make a movie.
No, you'd be mad.
Go make a porn. Do whatever you want.
Make a porn.
Yeah, do what you want. Don't involve me. My movie.
Who's involving you? It's a movie that they play everywhere.
I come up in the fucking elevator. I'm dealing with. There's a promoter out there who bought the fucking. I don't
He
know
didn't
this
buy
guy.
anything yet. I'm just saying.
He bought a theater in Long
It was an
Island.
idea.
Idea.
Are you guys finished?
What do you want from me? This is what I
don't
deal
want
with.
it. I don't want anything. I just
Leave me
ask a
alone,
simple
Ronnie. I'm in the middle of
question.
this stuff. Come on. I'm doing a show. Get out of here, please.
You're the one who called me in.
I didn't call you in. Go back and listen to the tape. You walked in on your own. I didn't ask for you.
They told me to come in.
Well, don't listen to them. I'll tell you when to come in. Never.
Ron.
What?
We talk for a moment?
What? What?
Have you lost sight of your role here?
No! Go away, stupid. Lost sight of my role there.
Ronnie?
Yeah.
Are you reading between the lines that Howard doesn't want to be bothered with things on,
on
the periphery?
I don't need
the-
you to explain it. I just got to... Somebody just explained it to me, okay? I don't need you to explain it to me.
How will you navigate...
I don't need you to explain it to me.
Well, how will you...
I don't need you to explain it to me.
Question. How will you navigate, going forward, how will you navigate what you can
I'll set
say
my
to Howard?
GPS. That's how I'll navigate, okay?
How do you know?
That's why I have a GPS.
How do you know what
I'll
to say
navigate.
to Howard?
I'll set my GPS to Howard, okay?
Will you be sending everything through Gary now when you just want to say good morning to Howard or something very simple?
What?
How will you...
Don't worry about it. That's not your concern.
As a backup to private
I'll
parts,
set my GPS to navigate, okay?
As a backup to showing private parts, what will you show in lieu of that? Maybe a share concert, something more personal to you?
What are you talking about?
Because you obviously can't be showing private
Who
parts.
said that? He said it was okay.
Well, I got the sense that he doesn't want that to happen. And Ronnie, one more thing. Do you think the block party's gone too far? Do Howard's words echo in your mind that maybe perhaps you're using his name to generate
Who's
profit?
using his name?
Well, the promoter that was discussed, the whole concept of the block party. Howard seems to think you're commercializing his name without really his blessing.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
You're making up shit in your head right now.
I think I'm reading between some lines here.
Yeah, okay. Well, read between the lines of your camera.
Ronnie, I couldn't help but overhear.
You're such a douchebag with this this camera. I swear to God, I can't stand it.
I couldn't help but overhear, Ron, that you're thinking about canceling every block party for the remainder of 2013.
And if I do, is that your business?
No, but I think it's a major part to this morning's show and the storyline that's going on right now. Do you feel like you're making a rash decision here? Are you reacting? Are you being too reactionary again? Are you automatically assuming that...
stop it with your stupid
I'm saying, like, does it
camera.
Mean, just because Howard's mad today, does it mean you have to cancel every single block party?
Well, maybe if the, like I said, I know a guy for almost 30 years. I can get a fucking straight answer if I ask him a question.
Are you insulted?
I have to go to Gary, after all these years, I have to go to Gary and ask him?
So clearly you're insulted by this new mandate.
Yeah, I'm insulted.
You think 30 years of loyalty might have earned you the right to have a personal conversation?
I talked to this guy about shit that you wouldn't believe we talk about, okay? And I thought I could go to him and ask a fucking question. I guess I can't.
But Trump called me yesterday and he goes, I heard Cuban was okay. He was okay to me. He wasn't that bad. What did he say about me? What did he say?
He heard all of it.
I got to think so. I said, listen, Mr. Trump. I think he was very nice. I know he did say that you had sent him a letter. I did. I sent him a letter, and I said, I think he said it's hanging up next to his NBA trophy. Good, very good, very good. He's obsessed.
Yeah, he didn't let anything go.
Donald Trump is on the phone.
Donald Trump is on the phone again?
That's right. And we
hadn't talked to him in years, and now it's once a week.
Mr. Trump fights back too. What's
going on,
Donald?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Very unimportant, actually, but
very important in your world.
You have such an audience, Howard, and everybody told me that Mark Cuban was on, and he said wonderful things about my family and
he did
myself, and it was all nice. But he did say one thing that we should at least correct the record. Right?
Go ahead.
Okay.
He said that his show, whatever the hell it's called,
Shark Tank.
Really not his show. He's one of 4 or 5 people on the show. You know, big difference, right?
Right.
As opposed to the superstar that's known as Trump, total superstar.
Well, you make a point
they
that
actually called me the king of all media yesterday, and I said no. Somebody wrote an article that I'm the king of all media, and I actually wanted a retraction. I said there's only one king of all media, right? But
no,
anyway.
but you make a point. Your show, The Apprentice. Well, let's back up. Mark Cuban was on the other day. He was talking. We were talking about years ago. He had a show that was very similar to The Apprentice,
called The Benefactor.
The Benefactor,
which was really a knockoff of The Apprentice.
And you got on the air.
There were 16 of them, by the way, so he shouldn't feel bad because we had 16 knockoffs. We had one the other day that died. It was called The Job. It was on CBS. And it died after two shows, and
which I know pleases you because
I love it.
Your show was the original
right.
one.
I love it, Howard.
And you love when the original. So Mark Cuban was trying to be a show like yours, and you even said on the air to me, his show won't work. And it sounded like sour grapes, blah blah blah. But meanwhile, you were right. The show went off the air.
Well, Mark did something that was a little bit rough because he went out, and, I've gotten along with Mark over the last year or so, but he went out with his show, The Benefactor, and he really went after me. Instead of saying, hey, and I spoke to him before the show went out, and he was totally nice. But some idiot told him to go and attack Trump, and this way you'll get publicity for The Benefactor. So he went after me. Naturally, of course, I go then after him.
What did he say at the time?
I don't know. My show's going to be better, it's going to be bigger, it's going to be this and that. In the meantime, I had the number one show on television.
And you felt like you had your back up against the wall and you had to defend yourself.
I had to defend myself.
Right.
I've watched you do that all your life. I've been watching you a long time.
Yes, and
so
for
anyway,
years, so years go by. Mark Cuban does get on Shark Tank. Shark Tank is, as you say, an ensemble cast. It is not his show.
Well, don't go so fast. So the benefactor goes on, and it's a total bomb. And I wrote Mark a very nasty letter. It was really nasty, and it was terrible. And then I heard he has that letter framed. I mean, it was a terrible letter.
He says the letter is framed on his desk.
It was an all-time classic Trump letter.
What did you write? Do you recall?
I don't know. Just terrible.
What did you say?
Terrible. I can't imagine. I wouldn't have saved it. I would have tried to. I would have burned it.
You know why he saved it? I think.
No, I know. It's a motivation. I think that's cool.
Yes, it's a motivator.
No, I think that's cool. I mean, I was surprised that he did it, but I heard about it. I thought it was very cool. Anyway, we've gotten along very well over the last year or so, and the benefactor goes off, and then all of a sudden Shark Tank comes on. So Shark Tank goes on during the week, which is much more important than a Friday night, and it totally bombs. So they think they're going to terminate Shark Tank, and what they do is they put it on Friday night as a little bit of a filler. Friday night is called Death Valley.
I see.
Well, you know that. I mean, you have a show on Friday night. It's not a good thing.
Right.
And it did okay for Friday night. Actually did better on Friday night than it did during the week, because during the week it was a total bomb. They thought they were going to have to take it off. And what happens is it did okay, and that's it. So, and it's doing okay on Friday night. But Friday night's not a television night. So maybe they should move it back to a real night, see how it does. So Mark goes on your show, said nice things, but then he did make the statement that the show, Shark Tank, which again is a show of 4 or 5 people that go, do different things, that it did better in the ratings. And I said, whoa, what have we here?
Right.
I knew it didn't. I mean, I knew that. But so I called up the Nielsen people. I have people that do this. And they called up the Nielsen and the NBC Universal people. And I sent you a little copy of the Nielsen ratings where basically we kill them. Now, you got to understand, not only kill them, but we're in the 13th season now. This isn't a brand new show.
Right.
After, you look at what happens with American Idol. In the first season, we were beating American Idol. And in the first season, we were, on many evenings, the #1 show and on television. And that was a great honor and all that stuff. But we did very well. But this is the 13th season. And not only did we beat them, we're looking at last season because this is just going on Sunday night. I hope all your viewers and listeners are going to watch it. But what happened, not only did we beat it, but we had to go up against the Academy Awards last year. How would you like a show that goes up? They programmed it incorrectly.
That's
and it
unbelievable.
No. It's a show opened against the Academy Awards. I said, I don't mind competition, folks. I like, I'm sort of a competitive guy, but you don't open a show and have a show against the Academy Awards. So this year they waited. So as you know, the Academy Awards, which, gets 40, 50 million people, the Academy Awards now is over, and our show goes on Sunday night. But despite that, and we did fine. I mean, we did fine against the Academy Awards, believe it or not. But despite that, so I sent you the ratings, and basically it wins in all categories, and easily wins in all categories. And, you have the ratings, and you can read them if you want, but it's not a big thing. But they come right out of Nielsen.
So your point is that when...
I just like the truth.
You want the truth?
I'm an extremely truthful person.
Some people would say, why does this matter to you? But I think
everything matters to me.
Everything matters to you. Things get under your skin.
Not under my skin, no. You know what? If let's say let's say he did beat me in the ratings.
Right.
I would say that I wouldn't be calling you.
Right.
I'd call you, but I wouldn't be talking about that. I'd try to get off.
You try to keep it quiet.
No, I tried. I'd sort of. But when it's incorrect, and when Nielsen is the king in terms of this, whether we like him or don't like him, right?
Right.
And Nielsen has been very truthful over the years about The Apprentice, and The Apprentice is a monster. And that's why it's on in like 80.
So what do you want to say to Mark Cuban?
Nothing. I'll tell you what I want to say.
He just wanted to set the record straight.
He was so nice to my children and to me,
right?
And so respectful. And talking about how my children are amazing and all that stuff. So I don't want to say anything. I think I think it's fine. But
why don't you buy a basketball team and beat his basketball team?
I have every one of my friends owns a basketball team. They're miserable.
They hate it.
They don't sleep at night. Or sports teams. I mean, I see these guys. George Steinbrenner, as you remember, was one of my best friends.
Right.
You want to see a miserable evening? Go to George to a baseball game, to a Yankee game. It was brutal. Yeah, he loved me.
Because it's work.
I used to say it was exhausting to sit with George at a game. If Derek Jeter didn't get a home run, he'd say, "Donald, I'm telling you, he's no good." George was brutal. he was brutal.
You don't want to live your life like that.
But the truth is, these guys live and die by victories. Most of them lose. Most of them don't do a very good job, and I see it. And they say, they're just really miserable. They live and die. And with all the teams, there's only one team that's going to win ultimately.
Right, I know it's not good odds.
And they're very unhappy people. So
do you
Donald did try to get into the sports game at one point. Remember that league?
Well, and don't forget, I bought a cheapo football. I figured I could get into the NFL rules.
Right.
That was really one of those harassment deals where we can get into the NFL for no money. That was
well, you try and you see what happens.
And Do you own? But I've had more Mike Tyson fights than anybody else. I have a lot of fights, and I'm very much involved in sports in a lot of ways.
Do you own Miss Teen? Miss Teen.
I own Miss Teen
USA,
and I own Miss USA and Miss Universe. I own the pageant.
So the big news this week was that Miss Teen Delaware was in a porno.
Yeah, and we had to tell her to get a letter of resignation very quickly. Yeah.
Why though? Why?
Well,
she was in a porn.
So what?
Question.
You think about it. Think about our country.
So what?
Kim Kardashian's a big star because she was in a tape. Paris Hilton was in a tape.
Do you think Kim Kardashian's beautiful?
No. I mean, I think.
Do you think she's good looking?
I think she has a beautiful face.
You do think so? Okay.
I don't like that big trunk.
Well, she's got a huge trunk.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
Well, it's seriously big.
Yeah. So what do you think of her?
I think she's a very nice person. She was on The Apprentice, so I think she's a very nice person.
Yes, I understand that, but I'm saying...
No, I think she's a very nice person. Howard, looks don't. I'm not that kind of a person. Looks don't matter to me.
Right.
The looks of a woman
they don't
do
matter
not
to
matter.
you.
Okay?
Not at all. No, seriously.
Now that he's married.
No, they don't marry. I don't look at women for their beauty. I look at women for what's inside. Okay,
what kind of porno was she in, though, by the way? Did you see the porno? Did you?
I didn't see it. No, what happened is Miss Teen USA, a very lovely young woman.
Right.
Although it's hard to say I don't look at looks, and yet I own the Miss Universe costume.
That's what I mean. I can't believe you're for real.
Sort of like, well, I'm trying to be very politically correct. This is a world of being politically correct, and which is destroying our country, by the way. Everyone's so politically correct.
You can't even call anyone fat anymore.
You can't call anybody fat.
You can't.
They accused me. They said that I called Rosie O'Donnell a big, fat slob. And I said, that's not right. I didn't use the word fat. But I've got to...
You're still angry with her?
No, I don't care about Rosie. Rosie's gone. She's gone.
I like her.
You do, really?
Yeah, I really do.
Well,
I've had her to my home. We have dinner together.
Well, if Rosie finally, says something nice about Donald will...
I'm going to bring you guys together.
Because you're a guy.
No, don't bother. It's okay. But
I'm going to bring you together.
She's fine. I don't really think about her, to be honest. But what happens is the young woman from the Miss Teen USA, beautiful young woman, got very much involved with the whole porno deal. And she actually, we suggested it to her because it's nicer. But she actually was, she gave her letter of resignation. Because, that system, that beauty pageant system, people don't give it enough credit. It's an amazing system. These parents, the way these girls, most of them are grown. I mean, it's amazing.
How does it work, though?
It's like a military regiment.
No, but how does it work? In other words, did she try to cover, she was in a porn, obviously, years ago or something?
She was in a porn, and it came out, and because she...
It couldn't have been years ago. She's not that old.
Within the world of the beauty pageants, Miss Teen USA, that's, potentially a Miss Universe candidate.
Right.
Miss Universe. Do you know, in some countries, like in South America, if you become Miss Universe, you don't pay taxes for the rest of your life. There's no bigger... In Venezuela, as an example, and we had Diana Mendoza. You remember the great Diana Mendoza 2 seasons ago on The Apprentice, how beautiful she was. She was, like, the most beautiful.
Super hot.
But again, I didn't notice that. Anyway, but that in Venezuela, Colombia... Brazil, if you become Miss Universe, you're like the biggest star. You're bigger than any soccer star. You're bigger than anything. It's the biggest thing. So anyway,
but describe to me how it works. In other words, let's say, so did she try to hide the fact that she was in a porno, and then you guys discover it?
We don't know whether or not she hid it, but it came out. And the problem is because she's Miss Teen USA, all of a sudden she has a lot of notoriety, and probably one of her friends that's jealous of her because that's the way life works. Everyone's jealous. They're all jealous of you, Howard.
Of course.
They all kiss your ass. And then they, behind your back, they say you're terrible.
But what was she thinking being in a porn?
I don't know. Well, because it was before she did this.
Was it a home
She didn't
tape?
know she was going to be Miss Teen USA.
I mean, she figured she'll do porn, she'll make some money, and then she'll become Miss Teen USA, unrelated. And that's what happened. She won Miss Teen USA.
Will you watch the porn? I'm going to see it because...
Will you call me and let me know how good it is?
You're going to watch it because you know what? She must be insanely... when do you see a girl that insanely hot in porn?
She's supposed to be very beautiful. I mean, I've met her once quickly, but she's supposed to be very beautiful. But she got involved, and she actually offered her letter of resignation, and we had to accept it. You would not have. You would not have accepted it.
Oh no, I would have made.
You would have said you're a double winner, right?
Well, if she hadn't resigned, what would you have done? Would you have just fired her?
Well, we probably would have had to. You know, it's a very unique system. I mean, the parents would have gone nuts. The people that, and it's a big. You know, I look at the different magazines and I see how they're dying. Right, they're just dying.
It's over.
You look at pageant. Did you ever hear of a word magazine pageantry?
No.
It's the things like 2 inches. You never saw anything like it.
I'm heterosexual, of course I have.
Well, okay, pageantry. But it's a magazine on beauty pageants.
Right.
And it's like through the roof. And it's just amazing. It's a big deal. And she did this, and she was forced to, and she was asked to, but she resigned. And she did the right thing.
Did your Twitter account get hacked?
Yeah, it got hacked.
How does that happen?
Somebody, well, you know, you got a lot of geniuses out there, and I have a hot Twitter account, @RealDonaldTrump. Will you tell your people to hook in? So, @RealDonaldTrump.
Isn't it crazy to you that, like, somebody that smart is busy wasting their time hacking into your Twitter?
Yeah, it doesn't do them any good other than they get arrested. You know, it's like crazy. So we're looking at it.
If you had that ability, wouldn't you spend every minute, like, inventing stuff and becoming very wealthy?
Well, they hooked in, and they put a quote from Lil Wayne on my account.
On your account?
And for 10 minutes, I was really ridiculed. You know, all the enemies said Trump has lost it. This was something to do with the hoes and the women. All women are hoes. So, you know, I mean, this thing came out, and I'm going to have, like, in a very short period of time, over 3 million people.
Wow.
And it's a big deal. And
sure.
I think they pick up 20 to 25,000 sometimes a month. And, you know, it's just going through the roof.
How many tweets do you do a day?
Mine's new compared to some of these. What?
How many Twitter followers does Mark Cuban have?
I don't know. I didn't check.
Don't you? You have to check.
I hope he has a lot. I didn't check.
Don't you check every day to see if you have more followers than Mark Cuban?
No, but I have other people that I do check that with.
And you tweet?
I do have other people.
Who do you check? Who do you check?
Who do you check?
I have very important followers. I have, you know, haters, and I have losers, and I have reporters, and I have everybody's on mine.
But I know you. You must have actually researched this whole Twitter thing, and you probably have people who know how to cultivate it and how to, like, you know, handle this Twitter thing.
I have great people, but you know what? More importantly, but it's my thought. I mean, it's my thoughts. Nobody else will give thoughts like this, and you know, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is my thought. Like, for instance, the Pope. Why is he should just
ride it out
and die. He looks so bad. Everyone's saying, what did he do wrong? You know, they said it wasn't the first time. I said, oh, really? When was the last time? 600 years ago. Okay, let's call that the first time, right? But the Pope should just sort of sit back and enjoy and relax and put some other people and run it, and you die. You know, I'm used to watching old popes, like Pope John. I mean, the guy couldn't even walk. He was bent over like a pretzel, and he was cool.
But the thing is, Donald, you must imagine that something very bad is forcing him out of office.
There probably was, but I don't know. This Pope didn't resonate. You know, a little bit like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney should have won the election, and I liked him, and I do like him. He's a nice man, but he didn't resonate.
He does. You don't warm up to this Pope.
You know, I like Mitt Romney, and I call them the same. This Pope didn't resonate. First of all, he comes from Germany. Somehow, you know, hey, I'm part German. You know, a German Pope. I'm not sure that works.
What do you think of the new black Pope? Maybe that might be a big deal.
That'd be very exciting.
Donald wants to see a birth certificate.
Do you want to see a birth certificate on the black Pope?
That would be very exciting.
Very exciting.
Hey, but listen, on the Twitter. So it's like I'll have 3 million, 4 million people within whatever period of time, right? So for millions of people. So essentially, I own more than the New York Times by a lot.
Right.
And I don't have to sustain the losses.
That's true.
You know, the New York Times used to have a lot of power. Now it's a whole different thing, and it loses its ass. You know, I mean, the newspaper business is going to be over very soon. When people see me reading a newspaper, like my kids, Ivanka comes in. She said, Daddy, what are you doing? She looks at me reading a
What is that?
She doesn't understand what I'm doing.
I know. It's
You're getting your hands dirty with that print. Why are you doing that, Daddy? And she picks out her computer. She presses the name Donald Trump, and she gives me 20 stories.
Don't you? Isn't there something you love about still holding a newspaper in your hand? Me too.
We're old-fashioned. They do too.
Yeah.
We're old-fashioned. But you get about 10 years younger, it's like they look at us like, forget it.
Hey, do you lay in bed and watch the Oscars, and do you tweet during the Oscars?
Well, I did this time. and I got
Are you laying in bed with your wife when you're watching the Oscars?
Generally speaking, yes.
Were you completely nude and she was nude?
Well, let's not comment on that, but she has at least she has a great figure.
You ever tweet, we're here completely nude?
Yeah, but we won't comment on that, but she has a great figure. But I did tweet on the Oscars, and I...
Yeah, you didn't like the Oscars so much.
No, I thought they were... I think I didn't... First of all, I thought the set was terrible. It was so tacky. It was disgusting. I really thought Seth MacFarlane was fine.
Right.
I thought that... I don't like him. You know, he did me on the Comedy Central roast. They roasted the hell out of me, by the way.
Right, I remember.
Yeah. He was the guy, and he was terrific. It was terrific then, but he could really be the Seth. He was held back, even though they said he went too much, he was held back.
Right.
But I thought that, you know, there was a lack of glamour. I mean, even the woman who won, she falls down the stairs. You know, that's very glamorous.
Remember that dress? I mean...
No, think of it.
Yeah.
Think of it. In the old days, Vivian Lee...
They knew how to do it.
But, you know, you're right in a way.
Vivian Lee did not fall. Clark Gable didn't...
You're right. Her falling down was sort of the symbol, if you will, of the whole thing falling apart.
Yeah, the whole... No, I thought it was fine, but I didn't find... And I tweeted, I said, where is the glamour? Because I'm a romantic. People wouldn't know that about me, but I'm a major romantic. But I said, where is the glamour? Where is the beauty? There's no beauty. There's no glamour.
Why can't I warm up to that Anne Hathaway? I find her annoying.
You know what? I'll tell you what. It's going to happen. She lived in Trump Tower. I like all people that live in my buildings. Okay?
Right.
Anybody that lives in my building, even if they're really unattractive, I consider them to be beautiful. All right?
Right.
So what happens is she lives in my building. She lived there with the Italian scoundrel. You know the scoundrel?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And we didn't know. He paid his rent on time until the very end. You know, it was one of those things. But she got lucky when she got rid of this guy. But she lived in my building, so I got to see her up close and personal. I wasn't a fan at all, but she's grown on me. You know, it's like the Mona Lisa. A lot of times you'll have a painting. Friends of mine that really do the paintings big league. A lot of times they won't like it, but in the end they almost fall in love with it. They're like infatuated with it. They can't leave. I mean, they become sickos. They want to sit in the room and look at the
She's a terrific actress, but when she makes those speeches, when she makes those speeches with, oh my God, it's very.
Well, that's all phony rehearsed stuff.
Right, it's all actressy to me, you know.
You know, when they get up and they want to thank people and they forget and they don't really forget, but they want to make it like it's a big deal because they're so excited. It's all bullshit.
Do you know why I disagree? You know what I disagreed with you on?
What?
I feel this movie, Django Unchained, was one of the greatest movies of all time.
No, I didn't think so.
Did you watch it?
I'm with you, Donald.
Wait a second. Did you watch it?
It was a movie that. First
Donald
of all,
loves movies.
Okay, for those of us,
it's great, and it's not racist.
But for, like the sick kid up in Massachusetts, up in Connecticut, that wacko kid, that dirty wacko kid.
Lanza?
Now, if a kid like this is going to see this movie, you know, if you're a little bit off to start off with, that movie is not good for people to see. Okay, because I've never seen a movie where so many bodies exploded as a bullet hit them. I mean, I've never seen a movie that bad in terms of that. And, you know, I just
Terminator.
thought it was a terrible movie. I thought it was a totally racist movie.
No, why would you say
it's
that?
Not racist.
Fact, I thought it was racist.
I'll tell you why it's not racist.
First you had the white guys killing the blacks, then you had the black guys killing the white. I thought it was a terribly racist movie, and I thought it was really vicious and really... I thought it was bad. You know, these people that talk about gun control and should we have guns and shouldn't we have guns. But when you look at that movie can really screw up some kid that's a little
I
bit
admired that movie, and I'll tell you why. It reminded me, even though it's a fantasy, it reminded me that our country was based on something so horrible, so horrific, slavery. And that if anything, it had the opposite effect on me. It made me feel more empathic with the black plight.
Well, I didn't like it, and I thought it was a totally racist movie. So what are you going to do?
I think you're reaching, Howard. You're
Not
saying
at all.
that movie did that for everyone. That did that for you,
for
and
me.
no one
I think
else.
I think Howard's trying to be politically.
Not at all.
Absolutely.
I returned.
You know, this
I think this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Halfway through the movie, I turned to my wife. I said, Quentin Tarantino is a genius, and this is one of the most emotional movies I've ever seen.
Because you're adding something to the movie that's not there.
You're all crazy.
Trying to be politically correct.
Really?
Okay?
He's being outrageous.
You know, Robin, this is going to be a headline tomorrow.
I'm not trying to be politically correct.
There's going to be a headline tomorrow. Howard Stern tries to be because
No.
How long have you been on the air, Howard?
Donald, this is how I really feel.
Ever that he's been politically correct.
I'm telling you my true belief. I've always been honest.
Movie, Howard, and it was a shitty movie in my opinion.
One of the best movies ever made.
It was totally just a revenge movie. It was nothing.
I thought it was a nothing movie, and I thought, when a bullet hits the body doesn't have to explode for 2 blocks away. The whole thing was disgusting, and that happened hundreds of times. I thought it was disgusting, and I thought it was very bad for young people to see that movie because I think it can really influence them.
Did you have sex during the Academy Awards?
No, I didn't.
When's the last time you had sex?
He paid attention.
When is the last time you had sex with your wife?
Well, let's see. What time is it?
Come on, be honest.
What time is it, Rob?
Be honest.
I won't say that, but
has it really been that long?
I have a great wife. I do. I have a great wife, a beautiful wife. She was on the cover of Avenue magazine. She's been on many, many covers, including Vogue. She's a great person.
Will we ever see
and
her
a very nice person.
Will we ever see her do a nude layout?
No, I don't think so.
That's a shame.
I tend to doubt it.
Very sexy woman.
I tend to doubt it. I think if we do, I will not be a happy camper.
And that woman stays in shape, man.
Oh, she's in shape. But she's naturally in shape. It's not a big workout deal or anything, which is nicer, to be honest.
Well, she knows with you she's got to stay in shape.
I saw a woman the other day. She's in shape, but then I touched her arm, and it was like, a piece of steel.
That's right.
I don't like that. No, she's naturally in good shape. Absolutely. She's a very beautiful woman, considered one of the great beauties of the world. So I don't know how I got her because, beauty doesn't matter to me.
That's right. Yeah,
I told you that.
Did you wake up one day and go, "Oh my God, she's actually beautiful"?
No, that's the way it happened.
You fell in love with her personality first. Well, listen to me.
I fell in love with her soul. So listen, Howard. I'm going to do the Today Show now, so I have to run. But I will tell you, see who I do first? I do Howard first, and Robin.
Who will?
Robin's so important to you, Howard. Do you have any idea how lucky you are, Howard?
I thank God every day.
I mean, Robin is just great. She's got such a way.
She's fantastic.
That's true, and I've said it a long time.
She is fantastic.
This is not a major breaking story, but she is fantastic.
You're right.
Thank you.
You're absolutely right.
So, Howard, I just wanted to call you up at the Nielsen ratings. And
very good. We have it.
The Apprentice versus that other show,
right?
Shark Tank, which is fine, by the way. I think it's fine. But if you look, The Apprentice blows it away. Do you have the Nielsen ratings?
I have it in front of me. You're not lying.
Confirm that.
I am confirming it right now.
Thank you.
By the way, answer this one question: how old is Melania allowed to get before you cut off her age?
Well, I'd love to give you an answer there, Howard, because I could do, but then it becomes a headline, and so I would say this: when she's 80, 90, I would still consider her a great beauty and a great wife.
Yeah, I think this marriage is going to last. I always said it.
Well, she's very strong and very nice. I mean, she understands me. She gives me my space, which I really need. One quick story on Melania, because I have a couple of minutes. They just told me, but one quick story, because I do love this show. One quick story. So Tom Cruise calls me, and he wants to go to the Wellman skating rink. So I call up Melania. I say, can you believe it? Tom Cruise called. Do you believe it? She goes, but why do you tell me this? You're a much bigger star than him. He is nothing compared to you. He is nothing. Tom Cruise is just a movie.
She's
You're
amazing.
the biggest star in the world. There's no bigger star.
She knows how to get you hard.
Well, no, I said, really? Do you believe that? Yes, of course. Don't even waste my time by telling me about that. And I'm saying, other people, if I said that, they'd say, I can't believe, what does he want you for? So she's very smart, and she's a terrific woman, and that's good.
She loves you.
And I love you guys, and take care of yourselves. I just want to set the record straight.
Who will be interviewing you on the Today Show?
Matt Lauer.
All right, very good.
Okay?
All right.
So long.
So long.
Bye-bye.
The wonderful and vivacious Donald Trump, who reminds us that he is beating Mark Cuban in the ratings even still.
Gerard Butler.
He says he went to meditate on this pilgrimage at this Hindu temple, and he felt like he was Jesus Christ when he came back. Like he could shoot fire out of his hands. He partied with Mel Gibson in February at a nightclub. You see that whole group of guys out. It's pretty crazy.
What do you say to Mel?
Big Streisand fan. You know, he's one of these guys that does all these crazy things. He took this motorcycle trip in India, got sick from drinking from the Ganges River.
People shit in there and die. Gerard Butler's in a new movie. Look at you, still as handsome as ever. I'm all right. I'm exhausted from my vacation.
Oh yeah.
I worked the whole vacation. My audience thinks I was off. I was working. I got 2 jobs now.
What were you working on?
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent. Yeah, right.
It doesn't seem like
Americans Got Talent.
Yeah,
no, I said America's Got Talent. I know the name of the show. I've seen it.
I got to tell you, you know what it is, Gerard? It's like, it was long. You know, people don't think that's work, but it was. It was exhausting. It took me like 3 days to recover from it.
Is that right? What, emotionally exhausting or just the...
Well, I would tell you about it, but my audience was so cruel about me talking about it last time that I'm going to just concentrate on you right now.
This is a Judd Apatow thing, yeah?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he didn't like when I talk about it, so fine. Let's give Judd Apatow his wish.
Well, maybe I shouldn't talk about it, and I'll never have the opportunity of working with Judd Apatow.
Hey, you know when you talk about a guest coming in, I wish, because you're so masculine, but yet you're a huge Barbra Streisand fan. And I mean, I'm a big fan.
He can be. See, that's how you got to be very masculine to do that.
I'm a big Barbra Streisand fan of her films. I thought she was a fabulous director, and because I think she was a woman and a strong woman, they never gave her the credit, I think.
Right.
But you like her music.
Well, how many movies did she direct, Howard?
Well, there was Yentl. There was
Yentl's a better name.
Yenter.
Prince of Tides.
Prince of Tides was another one. The Way We Were, she didn't direct.
No, she did not.
But she did the one with Ryan O'Neal.
Ryan O'Neal, yeah.
I think she directed
the boxing one.
Yeah, I think she directed that, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Did she direct Main Event?
I don't think so.
Are you a Barbra Streisand fan musically?
No, I like her music. Just everything about her, you know. I mean, I grew up with Barbra Streisand, and she's just... I mean, even when you look at singers today, the difference in the quality of voice and even just that charisma that they had in those days, you know, she was the shit.
You know, it's unbelievable what's going on in music. It's almost not cool to be a musician anymore, right? But hey, are you putting out a rock record?
No.
Did you go to Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp for advice?
What? I don't even know. I mean, I got to say, I almost want to compliment these people on their imagination. They just sit and go, what can I say? Well, you know,
are you the victim of a lot of false tabloid reports?
Yeah, I get some insane stuff. Yeah,
mostly about women, or mostly about like other stuff.
Probably mostly about women.
It's unbelievable the amount of women they got you linked to.
Yeah, I mean,
they have you having sex constantly. Like you were a little 2 minutes late.
You don't have time to act.
I think you were having sex in the elevator on the way.
Well,
up.
by the way, I was having sex in the elevator.
Oh, you were.
So it's not that I'm not always innocent, but the stuff that I hear, I'm like, oh, come on, really?
You're not that busy sexually.
I'm not that busy sexually. I got to tell you, there's many a time that I sit, because I mean, when I'm living in L.A., there's so much. It's so often, you know, you sit in your bed on your own, you switch on the TV, and you watch the television, and you go, I know that right now there is some story out there about me shagging 3 women.
Right.
I wish they could see me now.
If you're by yourself and you're like, why is my life so boring? But you know what? Seriously, I as a guy who I wasn't blessed with your kind of looks and machismo. And so
I say he looks very good.
He looks good, right?
Thank you.
You do look good. Like I own that same jacket, and I look like shit in it. You know what I mean? Like,
I've never noticed that jacket on you.
Yeah, I love that jacket, by the way. Maybe we should swap.
It would look a lot better on you. This jacket's pissed that I own it. So I should give you all my clothes, actually. You know what? Like for America's Got Talent, I went out. John Varvatos, I bought all his clothes.
I love John Varvatos.
Yeah, I got all his whole wardrobe. They helped me out. John helped me himself. And you know, at the end of the day, I still look like shit. I mean, so you got to look like you. When you were in Scotland growing up, were women always interested in you, or did it happen when you got in the movies?
That's a tough question. I mean,
How old were you when you lost your virginity?
I was 17.
Yeah, I was 16.
What,
so
the women couldn't get to you? What happened?
I just didn't know what I was doing.
Were you not considered a very good-looking kid?
No. I mean, I was pretty popular at school, you know. And by the way, I remember the first time that I ever flirted with a girl, and she walked up the stairs, and I said something to her, and she said something back, and then we just looked at each other, and I held this look, and she gave this smile, and my heart went, you know, it just almost
feeling.
exploded, and I went, that's what you do.
Right.
You hold a look, you give a little smile, and that was the first time I felt some stirrings down below. You know what?
17. It was a girlfriend, like a serious girlfriend.
No, it wasn't a girlfriend. It was just a girl at school, and she was walking upstairs. And I made a joke. She looked at me, and I held the look. And I'm like, oh my God, this is fun. So I've got such an addictive personality that then all I did was flirt constantly. So I became.
But before you got laid, were you getting blowjobs and stuff a lot when you were like 14 or 13?
No.
Wow.
Other stuff, but not blowjobs.
Yeah, I mean,
Just making out and stuff.
like I would get freaky chicks to make love to me, and then like it would be long between girls. Like it would be like months and sometimes
desert.
a year, like a desert. It was awful with this face. So I had I didn't even have that good a personality, so everything was working against me. You know what I mean?
There was one girl in the chemistry class, and I remember we used to have these Bunsen burners in front of us, and we sat at the back, and she used to wear these black stockings, and oh my God, I would get so turned on, and we'd start putting our hands in each other's legs as a dare, you know, and start working our way up to see where we would get to.
Really?
Yeah. And then to me, that was even more exciting than losing my virginity.
Yeah, right. That's hot.
Oh, it's hot.
Because if you get caught, you're screwed, and it's like the whole thing.
And every time she'd let you go a little further.
Did you ever consummate with her, or did you? No,
never.
It was just something that happened in that class.
Once in the toilet in my house as well, but I mean, never.
What do you mean? She actually came over and she started to screw around.
Well, there was a crowd of us over at my house, and we ended up in there kissing and kind of pressing against each other, and it was.
Why do you think you never made love to her?
I didn't know what I was doing. I mean,
you were that, yeah, right. Did porn help you learn how to do?
No, I wasn't.
That's what I learned from
porn.
From
really?
porn, yeah.
Okay.
That's why he was arrested several times.
yeah, I think you were supposed to just rip a woman's clothes off and do whatever you wanted to her. I didn't know you had to ask permission.
Okay, you're leading me to so many. I went through to my brother's house to visit him in Edinburgh when he was a student. I just started law school, and the guy in his room had a box, I swear to God, 4 feet high, full of porn magazines. I didn't have any porn magazines, and he was throwing them out. My brother said, "Do you want some of these?" And I was with 3 of my friends who were all law students, and I took a bunch. We get in the car, we drive back to Glasgow. I'm going into the university. And they drop me in the middle. It's this street that everybody crosses. Everybody who's in the university, they all cross. And I used to be crazy. Well, I was still a little crazy, but I used to be really crazy. So I decided to do my French Connection impersonation. So I opened the door while he was still moving, and I dived out and rolled along the street.
Are you insane?
I'm insane.
How fast is this car moving?
Oh, it was slowing down. It was maybe 40 miles an hour. No, I'm joking. It was like just a couple of miles an hour. I roll on the ground, and I'm thinking, the boys are going to love me. That's crazy. My buddy Diarmid gets out the car with all the porn magazines. He throws them on the ground, and he says, "And stay away, you fucking pervert!" And they drive off, and I'm left with about 20 porn magazines all on the ground, and everybody's looking at me, and I had to start picking them up one by one.
It's so embarrassing.
It was the most humiliating.
And like titty magazine.
And worse. They were like German. They were like serious deep throat porn.
Guys who love animals.
Yeah,
I mean, just bad stuff.
Yeah, and I'm smiling and I had to. I couldn't just walk away, so I'm like laughing at people like as if it's just silly, picking them all up. It was.
You know, that reminds me of a story that happened to my wife. We get so much free porn here and sex toys and stuff.
Right.
So we had a friend. She said, Howard gets all those dildos. She hadn't been dating. She said, bring a couple of those dildos that he gets over to the house. So she wrapped them up in a paper bag. I gave them to her. She's walking down the street. What are the odds of this happening? The paper bag rips, and the dildos are all over the ground, and she has in front of like tons of people picking up like a black dildo, like 12 inches this long. You know what I mean? It's just so fucking embarrassing, right? I mean, it's too much. When you're picking up porn off the street, and people and women are probably like looking at you like you're dirt.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just awful.
By the way, there was another time. You just reminded me. I was in a bar, and for some reason, I had it's not like I used to carry a lot of condoms around, but I had got a bunch and I had 5 and I put them in the inside of my pocket, and I'm sitting in a bar. It was an old beaten-up denim jacket, and it had a hole in the inside. So I'm sitting talking to this guy, and there's a bunch of girls, and this girl walks over and says, "Excuse me, buddy," and she picks up 5 condoms from the ground.
Oh, my God.
That it looked like I'd crapped them out.
And then you look like a douche.
I mean, yeah, it was not my best moment.
Right, it's like, oh, there's Gerard Butler. The guy who carries like 5 condoms because he knows he's going to get lucky.
By the way, now that I look back, I think it probably made me look pretty, pretty masculine. Yeah. But yeah, babe, what about it?
Do you still wear a rubber when you're with a new chick?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I'm going to say that anyway.
You have no idea how many guys I interview, single guys like yourself, good-looking dudes, they don't use rubbers. It's like, and they laugh at me because I use one.
You still use one?
Yeah. You're gonna
He's laughing at you too.
Yeah, I use one, but how am I supposed to have birth control?
Oh yeah, that's. I
mean, seriously, I don't want to, have more kids.
Does Gerard have like children floating around out there?
Apparently not. I mean, I always thought when 300 came out it was a big success. That I'm like, I was waiting for a call. I thought if there's somebody out there, this is the time.
This is the time.
Yeah, but I didn't hear anything.
Do you worry about your looks? Honestly, seriously, because I mean, everyone, all these women carry on. Everyone, how good looking, and part of the reason you get all these leading roles is because you look like a leading man. I mean, your new movie's coming out. It's you're a leading man type. Yeah. But do you have to sit? Do you worry like when you go and play sports or something that your face is going to get fucked up? Or I mean, I would be paranoid about that.
No, I'm not saying that you don't look in the mirror and go, "God, I look like shit today," or I need to get more Botox or something.
Right. Did you get Botox?
No, I don't.
Would you ever do it?
No, I mean, I don't. I don't think like that. I don't. I don't think that. It's funny because I said to somebody, I said, "Look at this. Look at all these wrinkles I'm getting here." And he's like, "Dude, it looks. For a guy, we're lucky because it works. To me, it's character."
In a way, I've always considered myself blessed because I can never lose my looks. I never have. You know what I mean? Like guys like you have to worry about it. I don't.
You're that good-looking man. Stop saying that.
Yeah. But seriously. If a producer says to you, look, like they have the role of a lifetime for you, they can read the script you love, and they go, hey, listen, man, do a little Botox around your eyes or something. Would you do it if they told you to?
Oh, if it was for a role,
you would do it.
Because I'd be just as happy to make myself look ugly, or get fat.
Right.
I'll if it's for a role and it's something you're really willing to commit to, then yeah, I mean, I would do it for that, but not for my life. I don't care enough like that. It's there's certain things in coming from Scotland that it's just you're not wired that way.
Scottish dudes are very masculine. They don't sit and think about Botoxing.
Yeah, when I came over here and guys started talking about trimming and stuff, I'm like, what the
trimming
fuck is that?
You don't trim your bush, do you?
No.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Are you circumcised?
No.
You're not?
We don't do that.
Do chicks freak out?
I still have the umbilical cord attached to me.
They don't even cut that. You got that big giant belly button.
That's why. By the way, that's why I did lose my virginity till I was 17 because I tried it with my umbilical cord when I was 13, and it was just.
Do you have a big belly button? Do you have like a thing like? Do you have
an Audi?
You see that thing that's sticking out of your belly button?
Yeah. No, it goes.
I grew up in a very poor community,
right?
And some of the kids had belly buttons where there was like a stick coming out of it.
Oh, really?
Because they had botched like umbilical cord detachment, I guess.
Oh.
Like, it was crazy stuff I used to see.
Oh, wow.
It was like a tail in front. I'm not shitting you. So if you're not circumcised, which by the way, I am so against circumcision. I mean, that's a man-made fucking thing. It's got to cut down on your sensitivity on your penis.
For sure.
I'm circumcised because I grew up in America. That's what they do. They cut you. But it's got to be wrong.
I mean, I never having been circumcised, I can't say, but all I know is, for me, it's very sensitive.
Right.
And that's, when I'm having sex, that's the amazing.
But do chicks freak out? Do they ever sit there and go, oh no, he's not uncut, because some women just can't deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's times they're like, oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
I've never really seen...
Because they've never seen it before.
Yeah, and then they've never really seen one that small. I've never really seen one like,
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they cut off too much of my circumcision. But do you have to teach a woman how to be with you sometimes because they don't know how to handle an uncircumcised
No,
penis?
I don't think it's that different. I mean, I don't...
Well, they got to pull back that skin, right? And then blow you.
Don't they have to pull back? Oh no, I don't know. I don't
No,
know
there's
enough
nothing
about.
to-
Oh, really? It's not the pull back.
teaches you
I don't know. I've never handled an uncircumcised cock. I mean, I've never handled a circumcised cock. Only
If it was the right role, would you get circumcised for your?
No, that would be going too far. They'd
Because
have-
Fred's uncircumcised, and he always talks about he had to learn how to clean the thing. There's always cheese in there and shit, and all kinds of stuff.
No, by the way, you only get that if you haven't been, if you haven't been careful in the first place. You got to. That's the thing. Your hygiene. You got to be a little more careful about hygiene.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a good conversation.
I'm learning
Good
stuff. Let me tell you something. These chicks love you so much. You could sell your cheese on the open market. And people would pay you. I'm telling you, these girls want it.
Okay.
Like Robin, if Gerard said, "Hey, look, I'm going to make love to you, but I haven't showered in a week, so you're going to have to put up with my cheese," you would. You would. You know you would. You would.
Stop it.
Seriously, Robin? Okay.
I know her. She would.
Okay, we'll talk after.
It's a nice snack afterwards. Give me a break.
Please.
So when you were growing up in Scotland, and I remember the last time we talked, you were a lawyer, which is crazy. I mean, you went to
I was
law
going
school.
to law school anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, and then you decided to become a movie star and an actor. And I'm thinking about this. I'm looking at you now, and I remember the movie 300 where you really bulked up, and because you were saying earlier you would get fat for a role and stuff. I mean, you're super trim right now.
Yeah.
You must have put on 20, 30 pounds of muscle for 300.
It was about 30 pounds. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, that was months and months and months of training, and I don't know if I have that drive now, but then I was so driven because when I got that role, I mean, it's funny. It was crazy how I got that role because the producers and the directors said, "We want you to play this," but they were in a weird situation because the movie had just been greenlit. Warner Brothers were very nervous about it, so they didn't want to put me forward to the big cheese.
Everything we do is cheese.
The big cheese.
Yeah, right.
And Warner Brothers said,
were they nervous because you weren't a big name?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, at that point, and they didn't know. Also, are they going to say that's is Alan Horn, who was the president, then going to say that's the guy we want? So they said, we're going to do this in a weird way. We want you to personally call Alan Horn. So I had
Who's Alan?
Alan Horn was the president of Warner Brothers, right? And he's a sweetheart, and I knew him. But I called him, and it was embarrassing because an actor doesn't do that. You don't call the president in the studio.
No.
And he didn't know because they hadn't told him that I was their guy. So I had to call him, and he said, "Look, I appreciate the call, but this is not really the way we do it. You get nominated by these guys. They come to me and my right-hand man." And I said, I know, but just let me come in. And I'd never done that before. My way would be normally, oh, okay, sure. I said, just let me come in. He says, you know what, come in and have a coffee. So I went in and had a coffee.
Because you're not forward like that.
I'm not normally forward like that. And yet the roles that I got were always the ones that I actually was very proactive and just kind of took a gamble.
So is that a good lesson for actors, that you have to sometimes be that pushy, aggressive guy even though it's against your nature?
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is that I was just talking about this the other day. As an actor, I think what happens when you start getting offers is you just look at those offers and you forget that the quality is always going to get higher when you have to fight for a role. So the roles that aren't coming your way, so you got to keep looking up rather than on a parallel level. And I think I was getting to a stage where I was just looking on a parallel level because actors get egos. I mean, you stop auditioning, you say, well, I'll only read this if it's an offer. And by the way, you get a lot of scripts to you, so you can't sit and read all day, but you can only, do so much. But it's always been in those times when I had to fight for something that tenacity comes out.
You're right. So after you have a couple of hit movies, all of a sudden you're like, hey, I don't have to audition for this. I don't have to go in and beg for this. But meanwhile, you're right. You can't lose that hunger because the good roles are the ones everyone's fighting over.
Exactly.
Who are you up against all the time? Is it like a type? Like, are you? Is it like you and two other guys?
Yeah.
Who's your guy?
Who is my guy? It depends on the role because sometimes they're kind of slanting a little older, so they might say it's you or Russell Crowe, or other times, it may be Jeremy Renner or Tom Hardy when you're going younger, and those guys are phenomenal.
Right.
And sometimes they come your way and sometimes they go there. And I always think they go the way they're supposed to go. You just, otherwise you make yourself crazy. If and I learned that early on when this role I wanted so much. And the guy that got it is an English actor called Max Beasley, and it was a Scottish role, and he's English.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? I could look at this two ways. I could be angry, or I could say, good for him. He, you know, he's managing to pull off getting that role in another accent.
Yeah.
So that should just inspire me to work harder, and one day I'll be that guy. And he had more of a name than me, so that one day I'll be glad that I'm the guy who has that name, and will get those roles. So I try to look at it that way.
How hard is it for you to remove your Scottish accent when you go up for a role? I mean, is that difficult for you?
No, I've done it. By the way, I feel like I barely talk Scottish anymore. I listen to myself and I'm going, what am I? I sound, you know, I'm a hybrid because I've done as American in so many movies.
How do you learn to speak, you know, with American, so to speak?
You go.
Like, who do you emulate? Like you can't go to a guy from Boston because he's got sort of like a Boston accent.
Unless you're playing a Boston guy,
Right.
and that's a tough accent. Yeah.
Well, most people in movies speak in a general American accent.
Right.
So, and I don't try and focus on one person because then you're going to start getting caught up in their habits. But as much as watching TV and movies, what you do is you work with a dialect coach. And literally, you sit and you run sounds. So you'll be like, it's, you know, for your eye. Because in Scotland, we say bright light.
Yeah.
We go, eye. You know, in America, they go bright light. So you watch. So you go, it's a bright light on a fine night but the thing is, there's the same rule for every accent. So I is a certain sound in America, and ooh for moon. In Scotland, we go moon. You know, or we go good. And in Americans go good.
So if I said to you, say the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain without your accent.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, because you normally you got to get your mind.
This is the hardest thing, I think.
Okay, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain.
Wow. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
And normally you do warm-ups because you got to, for American, you got to relax the lips, relax the tongue, and you got to just start talking like that.
Because if somebody hired me to play a Scottish guy,
right,
to stay in that vernacular, to stay in that accent is very
That's what I was going to
difficult.
ask. On the set, do you stay American?
I do, but you know, and that was the biggest thing as an actor that I did, because I was very shy to just walk around and improvise, and I realized one day it doesn't work when you're just going in for an audition and putting on an accent, because what starts happening is you start talking like this and you neither get the performance or the accent.
Because that's so forced. You got to make it part of you, so you have to walk around all day.
So I started walking around, I started talking, and I thought, it doesn't even matter if it's bad, because people don't know. They don't think that's a bad American accent. They just think he's lived here for a certain amount of years. You get every accent imaginable. And my best buddy was like, dude, you sound like an idiot. And I'm going, you know, he's a director. I'm like, you're supposed to be supporting me. Stop telling me that it doesn't sound American, because it doesn't matter right now. What matters is that I'm learning to laugh, to sigh, to go high,
to make it natural.
To make it natural, and it made all the difference to me.
Because I would imagine, like when I hear about Daniel Day-Lewis walking around as Lincoln all day, I think, wow, that guy's a fucking tool, you know. But I get it in a sense. I mean, you got to stay in the voice, right?
Yeah.
And he's British too, so he's dealing with it.
He should say that in his speech, by the way. I'm the tool that won the Oscar. That's why I act like a tool.
The guy's a great actor.
He's amazing.
Amazing actor. Yeah. But Jesus Christ, imagine him walking around all day as Lincoln, and then all of a sudden you take out your cell phone and he goes, "What's that?" It's I'm the president. I've never seen such a device. I mean, how far does he take it? He's probably still living as Lincoln. You know what I mean?
His wife said, "Why do you never answer my calls?" He said, "Because I don't know what's a call.
What's a phone?
Did you shout?
Why are you not yelling out your window? Who knows?" In your new movie, do you play an American?
I'm an American. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. So was it tough or is it action?
No. Yeah, it was tough.
You play a guy who is... everybody's now... The new enemy is North Korea, because don't you play a guy who is protecting the president or something from North Koreans?
Yeah, but it's...
What are you, CIA or FBI?
I don't know. No, I'm Secret Service.
You're Secret Service?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's cool, yeah. He was ex-Special Forces, and they often move into the Secret Service afterwards, so he was...
So what's the story? The North Koreans are attacking and you have to protect the president?
Yeah, that's basically what happens. I mean, you cut into the story earlier where I was special agent in charge, so I was the president's right-hand man.
Who plays the president?
Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, no kidding. That dude from Two-Face?
Well, that's a very young president, isn't it?
That's Two-Face.
Because, you know, we wanted to... You often, when you get presidents in movies, there's that kind of I don't know, standard, very polished, a little dead. There's a caricature that they have of presidents, and we wanted to make ours young and fresh with a bit of attitude, because it's really a movie about heroes and how in a situation like that it kind of makes it, in your darkest hour, how we rise to the challenge, and we wanted a president with a bit of bite. I mean, we open with a boxing scene. I'm boxing with Aaron because I'm teaching. The movie's really about keeping your guard up. And
you're
I say
boxing
that
with him because you're teaching him how to fight.
Yeah, because we fight. Most presidents stay fit. They go running, they train, they play golf, especially Bush. And they couldn't
get him off the golf course.
That's all he did.
And I'm afraid Obama might be turning into that too. Got to get him off the golf course too.
You got to go back to the White House. What's that?
Right. In the movie, do you bring in Ambassador Dennis Rodman to meet with the North Koreans? Wouldn't that be a cool move?
Yeah. But by the way, it's. The political backdrop is, there's a lot of tension between North Korea, South Korea, and America.
Right.
But the North Koreans in this are not the bad guys. They're just the unpredictable guys. We don't know. It's a black hole there. We don't know what they're going to do, because you just never know what they're going to do anyway. You always want to set a movie. You look at the global climate and you say, wait, if we made a movie about Spanish terrorists, nobody would go and see it because they're like, what? They're from Jamaica. Like, what?
Is that guy from Gangnam Style in your movie at all? Does he play the enemy?
He's the leader of North Korea.
Oh, Gangnam Style.
Yeah, and he gets in because everybody's just like, what the fuck is that?
And then he fucks with the president and he has to box the guy from Gangnam Style. I can't wait to see this.
It's great.
That's right, like a big dance attack.
But they're actually terrorists. It's a militia force. So it's it's more style perhaps than Osama bin Laden, where he has his politics, but there's a personal vendetta going on because of what happened in his own life. And so
Costner played a good Secret Service guy. Kevin Costner, when he was protecting
No Way Out.
he was protecting Whitney Houston.
By the way, you want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
I was an extra in that movie.
You're kidding?
You're kidding?
I took a year out in America, and I was living like a bum. I ended up joining a traveling carnival and working in.
This is after you became a lawyer.
No,
and your parents wanted to kill you because you wanted to be an actor.
No, this is before that. This is when they wanted to kill me because I took a year out after my honors degree, but I still had to go back and do a diploma in legal practice and then train in a law firm for 2 years.
Right.
So this is before that. I went over there on a work exchange program for the summer, and then the day I was supposed to come home, I was still technically president of the Law Society in Glasgow. I called my mum and said, I'm not coming back.
I'm going to join a circus.
I'm going to join a traveling circus.
I would have killed you. I would have beat your ass into the ground.
That was pretty much her life.
They were probably like, what are you wasting your time with this for? They must have thought you were the biggest screwball on the planet.
Screwball, but I think she also knew that, listen, once I went back, I was facing a life as a lawyer, and I'm not. That sounds like I'm not.
For you,
saying
that would have been hell.
Well, but not just hell. If it had been, no matter what it was going to be, you were committing to a lifelong career where you have your 2 weeks holiday a year, and I thought, I need to go. I need to do some damage.
But imagine you as a lawyer with your looks. I mean, you got so much corporate pussy. It would.
But wait a minute, they have to wear. Do they wear those wigs in Scottish
By the way,
courts?
what's saying I don't know?
You probably do. God knows I can't even keep up with you.
But do they wear those wigs in Scottish court?
Yeah, they do.
You would look good in
so
that.
you'd have had to.
I don't need a wig. I've got that. I've got that look. I just got to dye.
You got that puffy hair.
So what do you mean you joined? What did you do in the traveling circus?
No, it was a traveling carnival. So I was working on it was a device called the Wacky Wire, that goes round in a spiral, and you got to.
You ran a ride?
No, it's a concession stand. Right. So people come and they pay $2 and they try to take it down without touching the wire, and it's pretty much impossible to do, especially because there's an arm at the back that holds it, and if you do it standing behind it, then you can do it. But if you're in front of it, you can't. You can't. But they win this massive teddy bear, and you're like, come on, win the biggest bear in the fair. $2 a shot. I'll give you 3 for $5.
You?
That was me. Yeah,
you guys ripped me off. I think I lost that. So while you're doing that, you say, hey, let me go check out the movie business, and you go and you're an extra on that movie.
Yeah, I wasn't even checking out the movie business, but my buddy who I'd met years before in Spain, who it turns out his father was Alan Marshall, who was a big producer. He produced Basic Instinct, produced Bugsy Malone. He did Jacob's Ladder. And by the way, he's now an assistant director and a second unit director. Now check this out. This is 20 3 years later. When I was in Spain, I was on holiday with my family. We were there for 2 weeks. I met him. I had to go home, and he's like, dude, stay at my place. I've got buddies coming out. So I stayed at his place, and I had no money. So I painted his house. His mum gave me money to paint his house so I could stay out in Spain. And he just worked. He worked on this movie, Olympus Has Fallen.
Wow.
He, it was like
That's
coming. So he
full
was
circle.
Full circle. So it was kind of amazing that all those years later that.
You nervous?
You know what? You always get nervous before a movie comes out, but the reason I'm nervous about this movie is because
you got back end.
Yeah. Well, I always do, but recently I haven't seen even close to anything on it.
Right.
But you know, honestly, these last couple of days have been really exciting because we've just done. I did 80 interviews yesterday. 80.
Do you like that?
No, I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I like it when people are coming in because what we did was really smart because the movie is fantastic and it's exciting and it's very provocative and it's emotional and it's patriotic.
Have you gotten reviews yet?
Yeah, so we've been getting reviews. They give you quick reviews. The reviews don't come out to the day of.
Right.
But the reviewers have been loving it, and we've been screening it. These 300 word-of-mouth screenings we did all over the country.
Yeah.
And they are screaming and they're shouting at the screen.
Action film.
It's an action film, but it's also...
Any nudity?
No.
Any chicks naked?
Jared gets
No,
naked.
that would still be nudity, but no.
No chicks naked?
No chicks naked, no.
Who decided that?
I tried.
Right.
I mean, and
you
I
don't
was
make
even
love
up
to any women in the movie?
No.
Wow. That's
No.
real action. You know, that's the move now. Like, no one's James Bond anymore. Like, most of these action dudes don't actually make love to women. They're almost above it. Sylvester Stallone started that, I think.
Yeah, yes, that's a good point, actually, because it doesn't really, it becomes a little namby-pamby after that. Then it goes towards the romantic thing. This is, I mean...
This is hardcore.
It's hardcore, but at the same time, there's a lot of, it's a very emotional experience, and I have a wife in it. We have, because after a tragedy at the beginning of the movie where me, in performing my duty, there's a car accident, I have to save the president, but in doing so, I literally have to pull him off of his wife. And they go over the.
Would you love to be James Bond? I could see you as a James Bond type.
I could listen.
Is this your James Bond? This movie?
I mean, any movie that's an action thriller where you're working for the government against the bad guys, then could be compared to James Bond, but it doesn't feel anything like James Bond.
Would you love that? I mean, would that be something you'd want, or is it too?
No. To be honest, to be Bond number 17 is not.
Because you're going to be compared to all the other ones, and what if you don't do well? Then
yeah.
then you're
and there
done.
was Sean Connery, which is pretty hard to top. Daniel Craig, I really loved the last movie. I thought that's when it.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah,
that's when it clicked in. That was a piece of class.
I could see you doing that, though.
No, by the way, I totally think I could do it.
When you, of course you could. if you when you pull the president off his wife, she's not naked.
No,
what kind of movie is this? That the president's wife isn't naked?
What do you call that when you pull a costume and it just comes off?
The breakaway.
The breakaway.
Right?
Yeah. I suggested it.
He's banging his wife, and you pull him off, and she's not nude.
And she's not nude.
And does your character go, "What the fuck? Why are you wearing clothes when you're making love to the president?"
And he said, "What the fuck? My wife just died, you dick." Anyway, but so you cut into the movie, and I'm now in a desk job. I'm like a caged animal. I'm bouncing my ball off the screen. I train my life to to be of service. Did
you audition for this movie?
No. I produced this movie.
You got this role.
Yeah.
This is your role.
And it's Antoine Fuqua who directed Training Day. So I mean, and we have Aaron Eckhart, we have Morgan Freeman, Melissa Leo.
Freeman, he's good.
Melissa Leo, who won the Oscar for The Fighter. We have Ashley Judd, Dylan McDermott, Cole Hauser.
Did you have sex with Ashley Judd? She's newly divorced, right?
No, I have sex with Dylan McDermott. But
you did?
It's a spoiler.
Yeah. He didn't mind that you were uncircumcised? I'm glad to hear you have a small penis, though, with all the women you get.
Oh, yeah, it's
you
small,
believe
but
him.
Can I just say?
Yes.
It's thin.
It's thin. Mine's thin, too. Mine's thin and small. I'm not even thick.
My God.
In a way, for a guy like me, I'm glad to hear that about you, because you should have some difficulty in life. You know what I mean, that could look. Do women ever laugh when, because they're probably like, oh my God, I'm going to be with Gerard Butler.
Oh,
do they ever go like, I guess it's not a joke.
I just do that to make him feel comfortable. See, I'm not perfect. You want to see my hemorrhoids?
We had a woman in here who you made love to recently, but I heard you get mad because she went public with it. Brandy.
You got
from,
angry at her.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You banged her.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you sober up.
Well, you know what? By the way, here's the thing.
She's hot.
She is hot. I've never seen that show.
I watch it all the time. There she is on our show right there. There's a picture of her.
Oh, wow.
She's
hot.
She is hot.
But here's the thing. That was like where you're at a beach party, you're having fun. This girl comes along, and she was so. So what do you do? She's like, doesn't matter. What do you do? I said, tell me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we hung out. We had a little bit of fun. Suddenly, one day, I'm actually walking down the street with Antoine Fuqua, who directed this movie. That's
who you care about, right?
Who I care about, right. and this paprika, because you know they love to fuck you. Those guys, they love to come up and ask you the most awkward questions. So he runs in my face and says, "So Brandy Glanville says you're great in bed."
10 out of 11. No, she gave you a 10, 11 out of 10 as a lover.
Well, you know what I said? Who's Brandy Glanville?
Wow.
Because one, I didn't know her last name. And two, I didn't know she was a celebrity. And I didn't know that she was going to go and fucking tell people about it.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing. Then she looked... I felt bad because she looked... And then I worked it out. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's who that is. And I called and said, one, I'm not very happy that you did that, because you got... there's certain things you got to keep a little private. Sure. And two... I'm sorry because I said I didn't know who you were. And she was in tears. She said, I'm doing the press for my new show, and now they don't want to talk about the show. They just want to say, so Gerard Butler claims he doesn't even know you, and you said you had sex with him. And I said, I know that's embarrassing, but what do you expect?
She put it out there.
Yeah. But she's cool.
Could she have kept it going with you, or is that strictly a one-night stand for you? Like, in other words...
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. I mean, I'm seeing somebody now. I wasn't. Say this was me when I was training for Mavericks. I got a place down in Malibu. You have your fun every now and again.
Yeah.
And she's a sweetheart, by the way. She's a lovely girl. But no, it wasn't. It didn't really.
It's a one-nighter.
It was a one afternooner.
A one afternooner.
One afternooner.
I mean, the way she was. We had her on the show. We're talking. The way she's raving, 11 out of 10.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah, wow. I would imagine, because she is fucking wild.
Yeah, she is wild.
Yeah, I like a wild woman.
Yeah,
sure you do, Howard. I see who you married.
Well, how do you know my wife's not wild in bed? All right, she's not wild in bed. No. She used to be before she met me.
No, she's not.
But you haven't made love to any of the other housewives of Beverly Hills, Lisa Vanderpump.
Now I don't know because maybe I did.
Hey, but the movie Mavericks, that was the surf movie.
Yeah.
Did you almost drown on that movie or something? I read.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. What happened with you? You were you actually had to surf for the movie.
I had to surf, and it was my dream to actually go and surf that wave, even though the movie is all about just that people have no idea how dangerous and how much training and what metal it takes to go.
Had you ever surfed before that?
I just learned. I wasn't even that good, but I knew what I learned. I actually learned to surf big waves before small ones because I knew if I can be towed in. I learned to tow in because it's hard to get up on a board while you're being towed, and then.
What does towed in mean? I don't even know. I'm such a pussy.
Towed in
means
there's
a rope on the board.
You hold the rope. You're lying on the board. They pull you, and then you got to stand up. You got to get on the board while you're going, and then they've got to do it in perfect time so that you catch the wave as it builds.
So in other words, they give you an assist because this is a high difficulty thing.
They're hard to paddle into, and I thought if they can just get a few seconds of me on that big wave, I will be. And by the way, that cuts back to 300 because that to me when I went into see Alan Horn, just to finish that because I said you will not regret you put me in this movie. I will kill myself for this. And then I set such a high bar. I thought, I want to be cut like I've never seen anybody cut.
Yeah,
on
300, you were fucking ripped.
I was ripped,
but
right?
You don't think you have the motivation to do that again?
I don't know.
That'd be difficult.
That would be difficult, yeah. But so for Mavericks, I did the same thing, though. I said, if I could just go out there and surf Mavericks. So I pushed them because they're like, listen, if you get caught in Mavericks, there's nothing we can do. We can't go in because the waves are too big. We got to wait for them to pass. That might be 12 waves. That's 3 or 4 minutes. You're done. But I got away with it. I surfed it 3 or 4 times, and to be with some of the best surfers in the world. I didn't surf it well, but I just got up and
you were there.
I was there, and to see
them. Could they have faked? In other words, could you have never? Let's say you don't know how to surf.
Yeah.
If they had, I was up for Mavericks. I was probably next to you, and I've never surfed in my life. In other words, that would be funny though. Why don't I make Mavericks except put me in it?
Yeah, and you can't surf at all.
Yeah, right. So if you didn't know how to surf at all, could they have just faked it and used a body double and then been done with it? Or did you, in order to get the part, you needed to know how to surf?
No. I mean, they offered it to me and said, they said that, well, the movie's not going to happen if you don't do it. So they said, so you do whatever you want. If you can surf a bit, if you can surf a lot, if you can't even surf, we'll work something out.
Wow.
So, but. You know, the thing is, it's just the difference. It's the subtle difference.
You want to do
it. You want to do it, and if you see the guy doing it, it's the same in a fight sequence. If you know it's him, if you have to do, quick cuts if it's a body double, and it's just not the same. So I wanted to do it, but that's not when the accident happened. It was the next week, and we were doing a part where we're paddling out, and it's the first time that the kid who's, Jay, played by Johnny, he's watching me paddling out, and it's the first time he's seen Mavericks, and it's awesome. So we're paddling out, and these huge waves are coming in. You're trying to get over the top. We were in the worst position, and this wave we saw it half a mile away, and suddenly, even as I'm talking about it, you get those butterflies in your stomach. The guy goes, "Paddle, Jerry, paddle, paddle," and you start paddling, and you're paddling, and you're paddling about 70 yards to try and get out of the way of this wave, and it's getting bigger and it's getting bigger. It's the size of like a 3-story building, right? And then you realize you've taken a gamble, because now you're exhausted and the wave's going to hit you and you're going down. And I went down, and I just didn't seem to come back up. And I'm like, why am I? Because when
I'm going to die.
Well, because it's at the end of the wave, because we were so deep, there's so much gas in the water that literally the white water is about 5 foot deep. You're not coming up.
It pushes you down.
You just don't rise above it. Plus, I'm spinning, and then I realize it's ripped my board off me, so I'm not being pulled up, and I'm out of breath. I'm literally, I'm going, this is horrible. And then the next wave comes. So I didn't even get up to the top. So then I knew.
Did you think you were going to die?
Then I started thinking either I was going to die, or that they would hopefully find me and revive me. Because the guy who filmed this, by the way, he's been revived 3 times.
Oh, my God.
And he's now in a wheelchair, because then he got the bends after shooting this.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he was down like 120 feet, and one of the other divers got into trouble, and he had to, in fact,
what
the
do you
guy.
mean he's in a wheelchair for life?
Well, it looks.
You mean when you get the bends, you're in a wheelchair?
I mean, he was paralyzed completely for a month. Now he's got some movement back, but
because he went so far down.
Because he was so far down, and he had to come up too quickly because one of his colleagues got into trouble. So he was actually saving his colleague. This guy's amazing. I love this guy because, after I came out of the water, he filmed me, even though I'd almost drowned, and I'm like, and my head was. I thought my head was going to.
Did they use that in the film?
No, they didn't use it in the film because it wasn't really. I'm supposed to be
waste.
I'm supposed to be a good surfer in the film, but and I didn't mind that he was doing it, because I knew that's a guy who he'd be quite happily in this position.
Wow.
So, but it didn't stop. When I finally came up, there was nobody there. Oh, this guy, Grant, was on a jet ski, and to see him, this guy's 6'5", he's invincible. To see him looking at me, he was terrified.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I'm in trouble. And he couldn't get to me. I went down again.
Wow.
I came back up. Then there was nobody there. I went down again. And then when I came back up, they grabbed me. But when he was pulling me, the next wave was coming, and I'm now right at the rocks. And when these waves hit these rocks, they go 50 feet in the air. They smash it. So they had to get me out of the way. But the water's now going over my face, because he's holding my hand, pulling me, and I knew if I let go, I'm dead.
Oh, man.
But I can't breathe still because the water's going over my head. So, and that was about a good 200 yards pulling me around the side.
Imagine dying for that movie, it's so crazy. Like you die for a movie.
That's what I started thinking, is it went from, okay, this has become a story, amongst us. Then I'm thinking, oh my God, this is now becoming a disaster. Like they're going to,
And there are dudes that die on movies. Yeah. Look at what's his name? Who had his head chopped off with that helicopter blade. What the hell's that guy's name again?
Vic Morrow.
Vic Morrow. I mean, shit happens on these movies. They don't know. You know what? With these action films, they're asking you to do more and more crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You don't know what the hell's going to happen.
You don't know. I mean, there was a movie not that long ago when I think about 12 stunt guys died in a helicopter that hit you know,
I'm talking about.
cable.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I
Hey, never mind that. Tell me about your small penis again. No. But you mentioned you're going. First of all, the last time I saw you, right after you saw us, you went into rehab. I didn't know
just after that?
Yeah, just after.
Right.
You completely concealed that.
I was like,
from
he
me.
looked fine.
No, I was fine until I came in here.
Is that what did it? You went on drugs after you. What happened? I thought when I talked to you, you were sober. Are you a sober dude?
I mean, I don't drink. I don't drink.
You don't, yeah.
And I don't really mess around with drugs like that. But it was talking about movies and injuries. It was. I've been in a car crash in movies where I hurt my back. Then I was doing a fight sequence in Coriolanus with Ray Fiennes when the same issue, it went out really, really badly. For
back pain?
4 months, I felt like somebody was sticking a spear in my back. I made a whole movie feeling that every day, and there was nothing I could do. Every night I had
they
a
put you on
chiropractor.
pain meds.
So I started on pain meds.
Oxy?
No.
What were you doing?
Aspirin.
Heroin.
Heroin. No. That'll give her to the back pain.
He was doing aspirin. He got hooked on aspirin.
What
I had
were you
a
doing?
morphine drip right into my arm and a colostomy
What the
bag.
hell were you doing?
No, just
weed.
No, just Vicodin. And to be honest, I wasn't even. Do you know?
Vicodin doesn't get me high though.
No, I wasn't
Well, you
really
don't
getting
take
high, but it was just.
500.
One night I was with some people and I took a couple of Vicodin and drank, which you're not supposed to do, and I still didn't get that good a buzz.
Oh, that's, by the way, I don't drink, but there was an amazing documentary on CNN about the amount of people who die by mixing alcohol with pain meds and other meds.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's thousands every year. They go to sleep, their heart stops.
Right.
But how were you taking the Vicodin?
Cutting it up and snorting it. No, I'm joking. No, just taking it. No, just.
How much were you doing?
No, I mean, actually, not. By the way, by the time that I went into, I really wasn't doing that many. I went into it was like a pain program. It was the doctor there was amazing, and they use qigong, so he barely touches you. And they go by energy lines, and what also is they teach you this philosophy where you know that stress is related to pain. So you have genuine injuries, but the more stressed you are, the more pain you feel, the more and the more down you get caused by the pain, then the more pain. And
so you weren't like a real drug guy. You really had a problem with his pain meds.
No, and it was amazing.
How long were you there?
Like 20 days, 23 days.
Were you there with some hardcore drug people though?
I was surrounded by some crazy people.
And were you like going, hey man, I'm not that. I'm just doing some Vicodin because I got a back problem.
No, I'm in. By the way, honestly, the program that goes on in there, you got to stop. You look at your life. You sit listening to other people who talk about their life, and it is amazing. It's such a bonding experience. I wish the name wasn't rehab because it's actually a kind of a spiritual thing. You're with people from all different walks of life.
Well, sometimes you get caught up in your life so much you don't reflect.
You do, and I try not to, but I absolutely 100% do.
Is the food good?
I mean, yeah, it was
it's kind of like summer camp. What you're
Do
telling
they have special facilities, a good spa?
But you know the crazy thing is you're not allowed to talk to women.
Right.
Like in between, you're not allowed to talk to women. It's so funny because all the women want to talk to me.
Right.
You know, and they're coming crowds. I'm surrounded, and then the staff tell me off, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm being told off. You know, you know who I am.
You're breaking all the rules.
Yeah, I have a small penis, but it's thin.
So are women slipping notes under your door and stuff when you're in the rehab?
Actually, I did get a note slipped under my door.
What a life. It's unbelievable. You're in rehab, you're trying to reflect, you're trying to keep your shit together, and then all of a sudden you get the notes under the door.
Yeah.
Were you tempted?
Yeah.
What did the note say?
It was just being, it was like something like, you're fucking hot. I wish we could do something or something, like, you know. The thing is, you share a room with somebody, and I shared a room with this guy. Oh my God, he was hilarious.
He probably took the note and said, hey, this chick thinks I'm hot, I'm gonna go bang her.
No, but
that'd be great.
That would have been great.
You got me thinking maybe the note wasn't for me.
What a movie. I'm at rehab with Gerard Butler, and I get a note under my door, and I realize this chick wants to fuck me, and I go over there, and then she sues me because she thought I was Gerard Butler in the dark.
Yeah, or Gerard Butler comes over, tries to fuck me, and I sue him because I wrote the note to the other guy.
Right. So who was the guy you were sharing the room with? Just like a regular dude?
You know what? This guy was older, and he'd been married for something like 40 years. And then I think he just got a little bored, started drinking. And oh my God, I fell in love with this guy. He was such a good man. When I first met him, he was really annoying because he's like, this is what we do. This is what we do. Class at this time. And remember, okay, it's 5-2. You got to be right. And I want to go, dude, fuck off.
Right,
you know, but by the end, I loved this guy. Although he snored so loud.
Oh, I hate that.
Even the earplugs. I mean, the room was vibrating, and I
couldn't take that.
No,
I'd have to do Vicodin just for that. Really. I'd kill the guy.
Yeah.
So do you stay in touch with this dude, or are you?
I do. I stay in touch with a few people from there because you know what? I got to tell you, that's why I think everybody should do something like that, or go to some, to take a stop.
That's why I do therapy. I'm telling you. You do therapy? You do psychotherapy?
I have done, but I don't right now.
Can you masturbate in rehab? Can you spend some time?
Is everything off?
Or is that like, do they tell
he's
you?
got a roommate.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, can you masturbate?
No, I did, and then they said,
where do you go?
You got to do that in your room.
I do it in group.
Not in group, Jerry. Not in group.
But seriously, do they tell you don't just abstain from touching yourself, or?
No, they don't. They don't say that. I don't recall if I did or not.
Did you have to clean toilets with your toothbrush and all that kind of stuff?
No.
Like none of that hardcore stuff.
None
like
of
Betty
that.
Ford type stuff.
None of that.
Yeah. So you would recommend? Were there other famous people there? Were you the only famous dude?
No, there was a couple of other famous people. I'll tell you who was there.
Fun.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, please. Just give us a list of the names. Give us a few names to make it really good. Is that fun, though, as a celebrity, to see other celebrities there and like you're all kind of bonding? I mean, I would imagine that's great.
Yeah, it's cool because you know what? Well, especially for me, I to be honest, I could have gone in there saying, "Hey, I don't have a big issue." But I didn't. As if I'm here, I'm going to use this experience because you learn so much. You come out, you understand yourself so much more. You're inspired by.
So why not continue?
Why did you go?
You're right. By the way, that's why I kind of wish. I was doing some group. Have you ever heard of that book? Is it Power Against Force or something, where the guy talks about the energy you have if you're around a room of people meditating? Literally, it gives a vibration, and they say that Jesus operated on this 650 or something. Mother Teresa, the Buddha, and the emotion of jealousy and fear and anger is like 100. And they
But
say.
Wasn't there some story about? Didn't you go to Israel and then you were like you came back and you thought you were Jesus and you could make fire come out of your hands? Wasn't there some story like that?
Yeah, but it was fire come out of my ass. I realized you got to fart and light it.
No,
but,
you know what I'm talking about. Didn't you go? You had some spiritual experience. You went to that. What is that called?
No, it was India.
Yeah.
It was India, and I'm very. Well, I haven't been doing it so much recently, but I was big into meditation, and I went to India.
TM, Transcendental Meditation?
No, just meditation. I've never done Transcendental, but I met this monk in L.A., and he told me this amazing story as I was there going, well, look, this is what's wrong with my life, and he said that he was at this school. This school was amazing. They closed this school because this kid, one day, they say that this kind of that he had this spiritual experience and he passed it on to one of the other kids. Then all these kids started having these out-of-body experiences. They were literally calling their parents saying, you went here today, you were wearing this is what happened. And all this crazy stuff started happening. They closed the school and started this temple. It's called the Oneness University, and it's all about
Oneness?
Oneness University. And so you go there, and it was a one-on-one, and they teach you about their kind of philosophy. And their philosophy is absolutely accepting where you are in every moment. And that is your ugliness. You say, I'm jealous right now. I'm angry. It's not about...
being in touch with your emotions.
Being in touch with your emotions. And, rather than, I'm angry, but I shouldn't be, because that's what's frustrating. It's like, if I'm fucking angry, I'm fucking angry.
Let it out.
There you go.
Right.
If I'm jealous, I'm jealous. And it's about absolute acceptance. But what they did every day was they gave you these blessings. So they'd sit with their hand in your head. And at first, I'm like, all right, this is dumb. What are they? You know, I felt like an idiot. About 3 days later, I start feeling this tingling in my head. And
every day they hold your head, and you start your head
2 or 3 times with an intention, so that whatever you've been talking about, they get, with that intention of learning that lesson, they start giving you this energy. And through passing that on, they say you can eventually pass it on, but you got to go through this ritual. I know this sounds crazy. Trust me, I thought so too.
I was going to say, you're going back to rehab after this visit with us.
Yeah, energize me. So wait a second. So your head starts tingling.
You get this tingling, and it's in exactly a certain part of your head, like just up here. And they explained it because they were working with some talking neurosurgeon to explain the gland that it's affecting. And then what happened was you go through this ritual, and then you learn to start giving them. So I came back. I literally started giving blessings, and everybody I gave it to my girlfriend at the time.
Of course you did.
And it was so, but she literally went straight to the toilet and threw up.
Wow.
It was, but then she felt amazing.
Awesome.
You know,
so in other words, you came back from this experience, and now you were a healer. And you started laying hands on people.
Yeah.
And they threw up.
Yeah, right. But what was the thing? You started to think you could shoot lightning out of your hands or something?
No, you're just putting your hand on your head and you're passing an energy. You're
Touch
passing
my head, and I want to see if I throw up.
Give Howard a treatment.
Give me a treatment right now. So are you still are you still treating girls?
No, I don't. It wasn't
it's
just
weird treating a guy.
I think
not.
that you need to have more education before you start treating people.
That's what happens in Hollywood. Somebody goes for a 2-week course, and right away they're teaching. Right? They skip right over.
I know. By the way, I know you. I mean, I'm setting myself up for a big laugh here. But by the way, it was. I mean, I did it a lot, and it was amazing. There was just one girl said. She said, I've never done, she was off suddenly doing charity work on Easter. She was working with these kids. She says, I feel so energized.
Wow.
I had a blessing years ago from a guy, and he sat in a room, and I waited for him to start. He was a Brazilian guy, and I heard, this guy's amazing. And he sat in a room, and I sat there, and half an hour later, he went, we're done. And I'm like, what, that's it? And I thought it was bullshit.
Right.
Within 2 days, I'm like, I hadn't felt that happy or that energized or life suddenly. I had no issues. I just.
And what does he do? He just stands there?
He just stood there, but it was this kind of, focusing on you and passing.
Maybe it was that guy.
Maybe it was that guy.
What's that guy,
I went to
Robin?
see.
Yeah.
What was his name?
This fucking guy goes in a room and he stands there.
He stares there.
A lot of people
and
do.
he stares at you.
And he stares at you. I said, that's the gig I want.
But he was in London. He was a Brazilian guy in London. But I mean, a lot of people. I got to tell you, even my buddy who's a director, he went to see this the spiritualist, and the spiritualist said, you have an incredible power in you, and you don't even know it. And he started healing, and in fact, he healed me once on my back, and he got sick for 3 days. I mean, he really got sick. I mean, coughing, and
Does your back still hurt?
Sometimes it does.
I'm going to talk to you off the air, and we're going to get rid of that.
He has a healer for you,
Yeah,
too.
you don't need to heal. I got the real deal. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah.
You need help. I'm not kidding. Hey,
it's actually not as bad as it was. So I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it just. I don't know many people who don't get some kind of back pain from time to time, but when he did that work on it, I couldn't believe the difference, and he's helped. So my buddy hadn't trained for 2 years. He put his hand on his shoulder. He got sick after that as well. My buddy went to the gym next day, was lifting weights. In fact, he's in the back room.
Dr.
Freddie boy.
You're going to learn about it from me, Dr. John Sarno, and you're going to be fine.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
That's going to be it. And that's going to be it. Hey, so you're dating some new hot chick I saw on the paper.
Yeah.
Look at you. Model.
Actress, actually. She just made a movie with Jude Law. She just did a couple of movies in Italy. Love? I'm in deep like.
You're in love.
No, she's amazing. She's amazing.
Is this one going to last?
Oh, look at him. He's starting to blush.
Yeah. What's going on? Did you do that healing move on her yet? Did you make her throw up?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Wow, look at her.
Where?
Right there. Here, look over there. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
How do you not come fast with that?
That's what she said.
That's right.
That's what she said.
Oh, my God. How old is she?
She's 14.
Perfect. I want to do the healing move on her. Good Lord. Where did you meet this one?
She's 25. You know what?
25. Good Lord. Look at her.
She's actually...
She's perfect.
She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Physically perfect.
Yeah. I met her in New York after this art gallery opening.
Yeah.
And my friend was talking to her, so I was saying hello, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to kind of stand here or get out of the way. He says, hey, sit down. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. Great girl. You got to meet her. So we start talking, and she starts texting Paul Haggis, who we're all involved in the same charity, Artists for Peace and Justice. So I'm like, oh my God, you know Paul. And so then we get talking. We hang out till 7 in the morning.
Oh.
I say, let's go walk the Brooklyn Bridge, but first let's go and get jackets at my place.
Perfect.
And I have a hat collection of like 200 hats. Crazy Russian, you name it, I have those hats. We didn't even kiss. We're jumping about the apartment. We're trying on hats. There was something so magical about it. And I went, this girl's amazing. And then I said, she was leaving the next day, and I said, I'm coming to see you in Milan. I'm coming. And 3 days later, I was at her door in Milan, and she freaked the fuck out. She was on her phone. She goes, she's on with her assistant, and I knew she was
Let me
saying,
get this straight. You met her where? In New York?
At a gallery opening.
Where was the gallery?
No, it wasn't. It was a gallery, but it was the after party after the show.
Is this in New York?
Yeah, it was my friend's place, the Derby, which is a great place.
You meet her. How come your friend wasn't banging her? The guy who she was texting. How come he wasn't?
He has a girlfriend.
Right.
So and he was just friends with her, but she doesn't live here. So she'd been visiting.
So what is she? She's modeling in Milan or acting in Milan. So she goes off to Milan, and you just say, I gotta be near her.
Well, yeah. Basically,
you had this amazing night. No sex. It was just trying on hats and walking the Brooklyn Bridge till 7 in the morning.
Yeah. No, we never made the Brooklyn Bridge. At 7,
really?
I'm like 7. It was like, all right, who are we kidding?
No making out, nothing.
No, not even a
Why
hug.
not? That's your move.
Yeah, I know, but it didn't. I thought it was very rare, but I'm like, I don't need that right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So you hung with her. Does she speak English?
Yeah.
She's good at it.
She speaks 5 languages.
Wow.
Yeah.
She speaks 5 languages, and you're trying on hats. You're doing that whole move, like you're playing it like, hey, I'm not even gonna have sex with you. This is like, I just want to see if we have a friendship. That's the best way to play it. Then she leaves.
Yeah.
And you're texting and shit, and she's in Milan, and you go, fuck it, I'm going to get on a plane and go. Like, that's very Pretty Woman stuff. I mean, you get on the plane, and you fly to Milan.
Yeah.
And then when she sees that you've made this effort, that's when you bang her, right? You're the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
good for you.
No, we spent 3 days in Milan, and we didn't, we're both pretty paranoid about, because we just were hanging out, about paparazzi, and there's a lot of paparazzi in Milan.
Look at that picture of her.
Oh, my God.
Are her boobs real?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you serious?
I don't know. I've never touched them, but I mean,
yes, you have. She's like a D cup.
By the way, me too. After all that Coca-Cola.
Oh.
But it was right before the Cannes Film Festival, so we went to Cannes and we managed to kind of get away relatively unnoticed. And then I played a charity game for the rest of the world against England in Manchester United's ground. She came to that. Then we spent 8 days traveling Scotland, staying in bed and breakfast, in castles, and all over. And it was
you can get away with doing that?
Yeah.
Man.
By the way,
I would love to try on hats with her just to do that. It'd be fun. You know what I mean? So wait a second. Let me understand something. Knowing your reputation, has she laid down the law to you? She said, hey, listen, I'll go out with you, but if I find out you're fucking around, it's over? Has she ever said that to you? Because you'll screw this up.
Yeah.
She did say it.
I don't think she had to.
She knows you're into her.
Yeah, she knows.
You think you'll marry her or something? No,
I don't.
And you're not in love
Take
with
it
her?
easy, Howard.
This is me you're talking to.
Take it easy.
Is that going to be your life story, though? You think? Do you think you'll ever find that great love? And are you ever going to be monogamous and really settle down? There's no way, right?
Yeah, no, I can't even say that I can totally do that. It's hard for those words to come out of my mouth. No, yeah, I can.
You don't want to have kids, huh?
I do want to have kids.
Yeah.
I totally want to. I'd love to have.
What's a good age to have kids? Like 60 years?
Yeah. Yeah, Steve Martin's like 67. He just had a kid.
Is that right?
Yeah. You can wait.
That's a little young.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
I want to. Yeah, I mean, some people say they want to have kids younger so they can play basketball and all that. One, I can't play basketball, but two, what a great excuse that you can't. You save the time because you only have your Zimmer frame or a wheelchair. It's like I'd love to. now I can get some work done.
But you see why you can't? You'll never be able to settle down because, like, look at her. And then around the corner there's going to be someone even hotter. I mean, it's how the hell are you ever going to settle down? It's insane.
No, but
and look how easy it is for you.
Is like George Clooney a model for you? Is that what it is? Like
hell
you
yeah,
say,
he's a
look
model
at
for
George.
everything.
George never
settled. You know
takes
George?
the plunge.
Yeah, I know George.
Yeah.
He's George is a great guy, and he certainly seems to be pretty happy with how he lives his life.
Every year he changes models.
By the way, the way I see it is what it is. I would love to settle down. I'd love to have kids. I really would. If that happens, that's great. If it doesn't, then I'll just go with again. It's about acceptance.
Right.
Whatever.
So what do you think? I mean, what's going to go on with this girl? She's going to move in with you or what?
I don't know. I mean, she
traveling.
When I met her here, she was checking out acting schools,
right.
and she was talking about going to Lee Strasberg, and she still wants to do that. It's now whether she's going to come over to New York or to L.A.
You know what, though? In a way, though, you have so much free time in terms of, like, you're here doing promotion. She's somewhere. You're probably not going to see her for a few weeks. You could feasibly get into a seductive situation with somebody else and bring her back and try on hats with her. You know what I mean? It's like, it's got to be constant temptation for you. I mean, you go to rehab and chicks are slipping notes under your bed.
Yeah. You know what? By the way, this is, like, that's so fun. When you've had that for a few years, honestly, it loses its appeal. I have been such a bad boy in my life, and there's times where you go, this is fun, but it's the same old, same old. So it loses its appeal. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but definitely not saying that. But
Robin is. She says you're perfect.
Perfect.
Dude, it's unbelievable what's going on with you. Listen, the new movie. Let's talk about that for a second. Gerard Butler is in Olympus Has Fallen. Now, understand what this is. This is an action film. I can't stand these Les Miserables. I won't even watch that.
He did a musical.
Oh, did you?
Phantom of the Opera, I did.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
You get laid in that one, at least.
Not really.
Yeah, but
yes,
she
you
was
do.
asleep.
So what? Did you just party with Mel Gibson in Miami, I read? You and a bunch of guys were there.
Yeah,
Who was it? It was you, Leo DiCaprio.
Bradley Cooper.
Brad Cooper.
Who else was down there?
The chicks must have been, like, flocking to this table.
Yeah.
Was it weird hanging with Mel with all his bullshit?
No, Mel's cool.
He was?
Oh, I got to
he's
tell
a
you.
dick.
Really?
That's all hype.
You're saying he's a good dude? Like, I could hang with him?
I swear to God, he's a really funny, super sharp. And I was surprised. We all have. I'm a nice guy.
Right.
I make mistakes. I say dickish things, you know.
Right.
But at the time that I've spent with him, I was really. I was really impressed with. I think he was a good, solid individual.
Because he can get crazy anti-Semitic, but you're uncircumcised, so he probably liked you right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know
This is no heeb, right?
There's no heeb here.
No, he's an amazing guy to listen to. He has an incredible mind. But yeah, I'm not saying what's that?
So you dug him.
I dug him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Jonah Hill was part of that too.
Jonah Hill was down there.
Is he getting a lot of girls too?
No. Don't
like,
ask
who's
me
the
those
king
questions.
bee when it's is it DiCaprio?
It's Leo, right?
Is it Leo?
Yeah.
Is the ringleader?
Probably Leo. Not a ringleader, but you know, wherever Leo goes, there's generally 600 women around him.
Yeah,
And,
he's the man.
But you know what? He's another guy. He's a very impressive individual, man. He knows what's going on. He's so smart. He's so clued in on life, and he's a phenomenal actor.
Do you get jealous of him and his career in the sense of, like, when you're all hanging out, like, do you all sort of, like, try to figure out where you are in the totem pole of show business?
Like I said, I've always tried not. That's such a kind of negative, worthless energy.
Right.
I'm not saying every now and again you don't think, oh, I wish I'd done that, but I feel if you're going to think that about other people, it's only going to come back and bite you in the ass. So no,
Right.
If somebody's talented, I want them to have every bit of success. The Jeremy Renners, the Tom Hardys, they're awesome.
But do you get into, like, a mental competitiveness with them? Like sort of like, this sounds weird, but, like, if I'm sitting at a table looking like, that chick went over to him, not me. Like do you start to kind of, like, when women come over, like, Leo got like 5 women walking over to him, you know, and I only got 2 or something. And you start to judge your own worth that way?
No, because you know what? I'm happy that 5 women are going over to him and only 2 are coming over to me.
Really?
But yeah.
Can you be happy about that? Isn't that sort of like you're judging your mojo?
I got to tell you, when you have a bunch of women coming over to you, it sounds like a dream come true, but in actual fact, it can be a huge pain in the ass because sometimes you're just trying to have a conversation, and every time you turn around, they're waiting for a chance to jump in. Often the things they do are kind of. I'm amazed at women. You know, listen, guys get a hard time all the time. We admit we're pigs, but women don't admit that, and yet what they will do sometimes to shit on each other to get in there, you know, it is.
When you go out on the town with these guys, who pays the check? Is it Leo? Because he's like sort of the ringleader. And I don't want to say ringleader, but he's sort of who paid the check that night?
No, That was our. None of us did that night.
Because they comp you all the booze?
They kind of pay you to be there.
We were all down there, kind of for something, and it was all sponsored.
Open bar?
Open bar.
Open bar and all that
Free
pussy.
Coca-Colas for me all night.
And you're seeing that girl, so you can't fuck around, right? I mean, like those guys,
That was tough.
You guys should have gotten Mel to pay for everything, because Mel's got to pay. I mean, like, hey, Mel, you want to hang out with us?
Well, there was nothing to pay.
Well, if there had been, even a dinner, you go, hey, Mel, you know what?
Let Mel pay.
Your career is in the shitter right now. You pick up the fucking tab, asshole. We're helping you here, you know? He wants everyone to like him. You don't need that aggravation. Listen to me. What a life. What a life.
For who?
You.
Oh, for me.
What am I doing?
I'm doing
AGT.
Is there any water or something in here?
Here, I'll give you some water.
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, Howard, his life is like The Bachelor.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're The Bachelor. You ever watch that show, The Bachelor?
No.
And it's unbelievable. Like it's like 40 chicks all trying to win over this one guy.
I should go on that.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Listen, I could talk to you all day. I mean, you got some life. We just talked for an hour and a half straight.
No, we didn't.
Did you know that? Yeah, it's 9:24. We started at 8.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Huh?
Well,
Let's
I've
go back
been
to your
on
place
here for 5 minutes.
Let's go back to your place and try on some hats. Come on, man. Just two dudes.
He really doesn't want to try on hats with you.
Right. Oh, I see. Yeah, you know. That's
Did you think I meant hats on your head?
I see. Like Jimmy hats. So, it's funny, it's in a relationship when it's going great and you first meet a girl and you're up till 7 in the morning trying on hats and doing all kinds of stuff. And then there comes that time where everything goes wrong and you go, how the fuck did I stay up with her till 7 in the morning trying on hats?
Yes.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. I hope so too.
We've
had our moments. We've had our moments.
You have already? Good Lord. You're kidding.
She's fiery. I mean, she is so she's incredibly smart. She's very sharp. She's very proud.
But a girl who looks like that is going to come to you and say, listen, I'm not going to waste my time with you. If we go out for a year, now I want to be married. Because if I sit here and wait, I could get used up. That's going to be the tricky part.
Well, it's 10 months, and she's not been saying that.
Oh, she's 25. Like, that's true. She might not want to get married yet. Yeah. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Shit. Man, you really know your shit. You got it down cold.
He studied.
Yeah. He must have gone to Clooney's house and studied. They got vocal coach and then like a Clooney coach. All right, listen. We could talk all day. The movie, I'm going to see this movie.
I'm looking
by the
forward
way,
to seeing
honestly,
this movie.
it's fantastic. I mean, we're getting like 100% positive reviews from people. It's such a I mean,
how much you get on the back end?
I'm not telling you.
Give me a deal.
No,
you got money up front, right? What's your quote?
I'm not telling you.
What do you mean you're not telling me?
By the way, you're like the only man. I can't believe how much I do tell you, but I was literally about to tell you, and I'm like, no, wait a minute. This is on radio.
No, I mean, the quote is everything, right?
Yeah, probably not as much as you think.
$2 million a film?
No, it's more than that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, how dare you insult him?
I don't know. What the hell? 5?
I'm not saying.
I would think for Gerard Butler, minimum $5 million a film, right?
Maybe.
Nice money.
It's yeah.
How many homes
after
do you
commission and taxes, it's
how many homes do you own?
Actually, 4, but 2 are small. Yeah, and then my parents' land in Scotland. They have the house, I have the land, so I can still kick them off even though it's their house.
You own your parents' land.
Oh, it's my mom's 70th birthday today, by the way.
Happy birthday, Mom!
She's in Florida.
Look at her.
Yeah.
Boca Beach Club?
No, it's she goes to this with my stepfather every year. Check this out. My mom has they wanted to go for 2 months a year. They've been doing it for about 5-6 years now.
Yeah.
They go to this place. It's called the Villages, and it's like everybody over 65. They have every club you can
like
imagine.
Century Village.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's like Century Village. You go there and you hang out with all the old people.
You
play
hang out.
shuffleboard and all
they
that
have
crap.
line dancing and aqua aerobics, and they have golfing, and they have a blast.
Why do
right?
old people all want to do that?
Yeah, well,
just old people want to do something.
You know what? I'm old enough to be in one of those homes. That's all the shit I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I just want to lay in bed and sleep. Fuck that. What do I have to go do now? Golf?
You can't play shuffleboard.
You know what? I'm going to sit and eat. That's what I'm going to do and sleep.
By the way, you know what they did? They went kayaking. I got a note saying, me and your Aunt Kathleen are going in a 5-mile kayak. And I didn't answer, but I thought, that's insane, 5 miles. Yeah. The next day,
During the hospital.
we got the longest email. They almost drowned.
Yeah.
They capsized. My Aunt Kathleen had a panic attack, so my mum's screaming because the kayak is going down the stream. She's holding on by a rope. She's screaming, Kathleen, do something, do something. And Kathleen's going, I can't think, stop, I can't think for 5 minutes. She said she just blanked, didn't know what to do.
The village is going to kill your parents and your aunt.
Yeah. Well, this was some river they were going down, and seriously,
they're crazy.
They're crazy.
Yeah, you don't do that at that age. What is it, Gary?
I saw a piece on this place on CBS Sunday Morning News.
Yeah.
Everybody there has a golf cart, I think, right? And they all trick out their golf carts to make them look like antique cars or like trolley cars or something.
It's not Century Village, it's just the village.
The villages.
They're called the villages. By the way, so now they don't rent the places out for 2 months. They say it's a 3-month minimum. Yeah. So my mum, who hates being there that long, but she's like, if I'm paying for 3 months, I'm staying.
Right.
I'm like, Mum, I'll get it.
I'll bail you
Doesn't
out.
matter. It's the principle. If we're paying for 3 months, we're staying. So now they stay for 3 months every year.
So now she's torturing herself.
Torturing herself.
Right. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, listen. You've said it all. We heard about the hot girlfriend. We heard about rehab. We heard about Brandy, who gave you an 11 out of 10 as a lover.
Right.
I hate you for that.
Even with a
now
small, thin penis.
Small, thin penis.
You must do a lot of going down on women, right? To get an 11 out of 10, you must have done something right.
My tongue, that's long, but it's thick.
Nice. That's, I got an 11 once from one woman, but it was out of 100. I'm not kidding. That's the only 11 I ever got.
That was your highest score.
That was my highest score ever. All right, listen. Gerard Butler, he's a good guy. Great guy. A lot of fun. Hanging out with Mel Gibson, Leo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill. Look what's going on. They go there. Drinks are free. The women are a pain in the ass. There's so many.
The women are free.
He can heal you. This is what I learned.
Ah, that's right. He has energy to deliver.
If he touches you with his hands and puts them on your head, you're going to tingle in your head.
By the way,
yeah.
I got it. I don't think I've ever said this on air before, but coming back from India, after getting all that energy put into you, I know it sounds crazy, I started getting really feeling very strange. I had to I went straight to, this is the next day, I went straight to a press junket in Hawaii, and I start getting I get faint when I'm standing up. The doctor comes, puts his finger on my pulse, says, feel this. And my heart had gone into what do you call that? Like a skip heartbeat.
An arrhythmia?
Yeah.
Wow.
It went up to 178.
Because you had so much energy.
Because all that energy they were putting in. I've never had that in my life. I've never had it since. And but it was literally all that energy going in. They had to give me this Rhythmol. I said, "Is that my?"
What you're telling me?
Yeah, the nurse. I said to the nurse, "That's not my heart rate." She said, "Yes, it is." Get nurse. It's blah 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 blah. They're giving me injections. They gave me this pill, and I was starting to feel faint even sitting down. But so if, for those that would say that's bullshit,
it was medically. You saw your pulse. Yeah.
Never had it in my whole life. So it was. That's actually not really selling the place.
Right? Yeah.
No, really.
I'm not going to India. I'm never going to India anyway. I don't care I don't care how much energy they give me.
You don't care what they've got over there.
Oh, they bathe and they shit in the water and they die in the water and then you drink it. Did you drink that water?
Okay, by the way, I took a bike ride up into the Himalayas, up by the Ganges, and when we got up, the water got so fresh and beautiful. You literally have tigers on the other side of the river running wild, and one guy came up with a bottle of water, and he's like, yeah, that's the water. I said, I can't. He said, no, it's fine. That's supposed to be an Indian accent. And so I drink it. That night, I go hiking. We climbed up to the top of this mountain. We set camp. And I got so ill. I spent all night crapping myself, vomiting. And then they had to come. I had to go down by a donkey the next day. I'm throwing up off the side of the donkey. It was and they put me in the car. I'm not even going to tell you what happened in the car. They drive me for a day and a half to get back home. I was sick for a month.
Wow.
Dude, you never drink that fucking Indian water.
But it was up high. But what happened was the higher you went, and then suddenly you come across these villages, and they're shitting in the water.
Yeah.
I'm looking, I'm going,
they bury their dead in there.
I know.
You just drank shit water.
I know, but I was up in the Himalayas.
You don't even let the water fall into your eyes over there.
Right, that's right.
By the way, we swam at Varanasi. That's where they burn the bodies, and that's where the river is slow moving and
would you do
filthy.
That?
It was the most incredible experience. You walk into Varanasi, you feel like you took an ecstasy.
Really?
It was the best day I ever spent in my life.
I mean, my God, what you're up to. You better slow down in life.
Yeah, you're laughing at me.
Yeah.
Laugh at him.
Yeah.
Get him under control.
Yeah,
I thought that was me slowing down.
Robin does all that nutty shit, too. I stay home. All right, listen. All right. Look, we could talk for another 2 hours just to hear what happened in the car in India.
Yeah, really.
You were shitting your
Can't
pants.
even imagine.
What happened? You passed out and 3 women jumped you and made love to you? Some horrible thing like that? I can't even imagine. Yeah. Man, I got to hang out with you and Leo and all those other.
Oh, we gotta hang out. We gotta hang out sometime.
Yeah, you're not.
I love you. You're awesome.
I'm coming over and trying on hats at the very least. I got to see this hat collection. What is it, Gary?
Gerard has to go.
Of course he has to go. He's been here for 2 days.
He's been here for 90 minutes.
All right, Gerard Butler. Let's just mention the movie. That's what the man's here for. Olympus Has Fallen. This is where these fucking North Koreans come over. They attack our president. And who saves the president? Gerard Butler. And you can follow Gerard on Twitter. @Gerard Butler, ladies.
You really want more followers. You're advertising that.
He doesn't need any followers.
I got to say, though, I mean, I'm super proud of this movie. It is terrifying. And
I'm going to watch
it. It's
Can't wait to see it.
all right. Hey, you sold me.
Yeah.
You closed the deal.
You're really witnessing an attack. It is so real and plausible when you watch this that it's mind blowing. I mean, every person that's watching this, like, I didn't breathe out till the end of the movie. You know,
bro, I'm there. I'm watching it.
I'd love you to see it. I'd love you to see it before it comes out. Good man.
I'm gonna see it.
And I loved your support on Machine Gun Preacher. That was
yeah.
Love that movie.
You're the man. All right, look. Go have your perfect life. I'll sit here and do the dumb show.
Yeah, go back to Leo and
go back to your
Mel
buddies.
This is a script, by the way. Coming on here, and now I'm going to Kelly and Michael, which I think I'm late for, and then I'm doing Pierce Morgan. So this is a crazy day. Yeah.
You'll have fun. All right, listen. Try not to be too handsome. All right, listen. Thank you, and touch my head before you leave. All right.
All right.
See if you can do something with my face. All right. Hey, what if Gerard Butler
You need a blessing.
What a movie
You
that
need
would
a
be.
blessing.
Gerard Butler does a blessing on me, touches my head, and his face gets on me, and he starts looking like me. Oh, poor bastard. All right. No more movies. No more $5 million quote. All right. Gerard Butler, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after these words.
Gerard, I heard you say towards the end of the interview, I don't know how you get all of this out of me. What's his secret? How does Howard get to the bottom of everything?
I don't know. You know what? I tell you, the first time, it's only my second time on it, but the first time I won it, I'm like, holy crap, I'm going on Howard Stern. I never had so much fun. You know, he's such a great, he has this way of giving you shit, but it bigs you up, you know? It's not that negative. So you just let go and you go, you know what? I'm going to have a blast here. And the thing I said last time to my friends is whenever I look into his eyes, you just see a good man. At the end of the day, he's such a good man. And so you come in and you go, I leave and I go, and people remind me what I said, because the last time